Hey everybody, it's Ben and Karen, Karen and Ben, and Glory B and Kazoo, our two dogs. Let's see. I will send you the squad stream invite once we're on. All right, go squad stream. So there's a big tournament going on now, starting today. It's a 5-day event, so it ends on Sunday. Karen and I will be doing live commentary Wednesday through Sunday. Today's Wednesday. Same time every day, a little before 11 a.m. And we're doing Division 3, and this is a knockout event. And the way the knockout works is, thanks Felix Frias for the sub. That's how it works. The way it works is, in our section, there's 32 players, and they play knockout, so there's 16, then 8, then 4, and 2, and 1. And if you get knocked out in the first round, then you're in the loser's bracket. So there'll be 16 people in the winner's bracket that won the first round, and 16 in the loser's bracket. Then when you get all the way to the end, the person who won the loser's bracket plays the winner of the winner's bracket, and the loser bracket guy has to win twice. He has to win 2 matches. He has to beat the winner and then beat him again. And this takes 5 days, and the time control is 15 minute with, I think, a 3-second increment. But I could be wrong about that. I knew what it was, but, I can't remember and so forth. Yeah. And so on. So this is the Julius Baer Generation Cup Champions Chess Tour. And the final 8 play in Omaha? Well, maybe. Probably not. Yeah. So there's 16 games going on simultaneously. And just a second, we have to squad stream. Hooray. Accept. Wait, now I have to do other stuff? Yeah. What? Hopefully I did it. Well, that was complicated. Let's see. I accepted. Okay, and we'll go back to our stream because I understand how that works. So the one game we'll look at, Georg Meyer has white against Etienne Buckrow. And there's a lot of games. In fact, I wanted to show you the thing here. Hard to see, but this is the knockout bracket. And you can see the winners of round 1, and it goes all the way to the end. So Georg Meyer is playing Etienne Buckrow. Bardia Denishvar is playing Vodikov. Bortnick is playing Mamedyarov. That's a big matchup. Santos Latasa is playing Meshkovs. Makarian's playing Andreikin. Benjamin Bach is playing Kovalenko. Hakobian is playing Ardya. Benjamin Gladura, it's all about the Benjamins, is playing Salinas Herrera. Theodoru is playing Komsky. Kramnik is playing Ivich. Pichot is playing Tersahakian. Sam Sevian is playing Sargisian. Or Sarksian. Shant Sarksian. Tuan Lee is playing Bluebaum. Flores is playing Maksudlu. Kuzubov, Geary, and Rasulov Lupulescu. Those are the 32 players, and we're going to try to look at all the games per round, but maybe we'll miss some because there's a lot of games going on. Hamish W27 subscribed. Hooray! And so forth. It is a tough tournament because there's a lot of super GMs playing in the 3rd division. Almost all of the players are between 26 and 2,800 FIDE. and a few 2700s thrown in there. So, and Geary's playing.
I was surprised.
So yeah, Geary and Kramnik and Mamedyarov are probably the three biggest names. Although Geary's only 4 letters, so maybe that's not as big. And so forth.
Thank you for the sub, Hamish.
Let's see, which game should we start with when they start? Because they're going to start in about 4 minutes. Let's see. How about the Geary game?
Yeah, I was going to say Geary.
Geary. Okay, we have to go all the way. All the way near the end. So many games. Let's see. Geary Kuzubov. That's pretty good. Okay, so Kuzubov has white in the first game against Anish Geary.
Control F, Geary.
Mm-hmm. My favorite player is Wesley, but he's having a bad season. Man, the truth hurts. Bortnick versus Mamedyarov is the most interesting one, says Abdul Rahman. That is interesting.
Ben just did a lecture on Wesley So on this past Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Moves.
He said it didn't work yet, my squad stream, so I don't know what I have to do after I accept.
Let me see.
Yeah, we got invited to a squad stream, and then...
Says it's still not accepted.
Still not accepted. I clicked accept.
Yeah. Maybe they should send another one. Click OK, got it. I'm sure that's not anything.
Technology always works perfectly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Do we have to restart the stream?
No.
No, I'm reading the chat.
Right. No.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully not. I don't know.
No, we don't.
Hey, Nick BFH. I'll be here till about 11:50. Then I have to go do my poker study group, and then I'll return if it's still going on. I couldn't miss it because I'm the one that runs it.
I'm setting up a picture of this screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, European friendly stream. Let me get my glasses on, see if I can see anything that... No, I don't see anything.
So far, the players have both played 100% accuracy. And it's Division 3.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're playing better than that in the other sections. Anyway, I'm sure we'll figure out what's going on. I don't think it could be this, where it says I have to review my updated agreement. I don't think that matters.
I mean, I would do it.
I've agreed.
How do you get back to the other window? Just back, or?
I don't know. This is where it was, Stream Manager.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that seems fine.
Jay Bruz subscribed. Hooray! He's circling this. You click on this icon. Okay. Let's see. He circled like a whole thing, so I don't know.
I don't know if you want me to help, but I don't have my glasses on. I can't see that, but I would just, if you don't know.
Ah, here it is, start squad stream.
Oh, okay.
Invites. Accept. Okay, it looks like we did it.
All right, cool. Yeah, they didn't tell us to do that part, so.
Right. Also, even when he circled it, I couldn't
It's
tell.
not even, he didn't even, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think that looked right. All right, did it.
All right, now we're squad streaming. We don't know what that means, but we're doing it. All right, the game should have started, although I don't have any moves. So I don't know if they're slightly late. Let me see if there's any moves on any of the games. Ah, there are. Okay. Oh, in fact, on the game I'm looking at, Geary Kuzubov. Okay, so they started just as I started looking at the other games. Geary's white, and he played the very unusual knight BD2 in this position. Very suspicious. Now, Karen, if you were white in this position, what would you play?
I mean, I usually get my bishop.
Yeah, you'd
out.
play bishop F4. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I usually play.
London.
But I have
Yeah.
played Queen's Gambit sometimes.
Okay.
I
So,
get my bishop out.
knight BD2, I have very rare at the top level. Bishop. So, like, what Geary's trying to do, excuse me, is turn the King's Indian into a Pierce. If white plays C4, the game would either be I'm sorry, Geary's black. If Kuzubov played C4, it would either be a King's Indian or a Grunfeld. And by playing knight BD2, he's trying to take Geary out of his prep. And then E4. So this is more of a Pierce, although it's a Pierce where white's played knight BD2 really early and bishop D3, which is not very aggressive. Okay, D5, very aggressive move from Geary instead of the typical D6. And then E5. And Geary's thinking, this is a very combative move, D5. Because after E5, you know, I think most grandmasters would take white here. White has a big space advantage in the center, and it's not clear where Geary's knight should go. I mean, it's almost like D5 was a mouse slip. Like he should have played D6, but, you know, not really. Okay, so Geary plays knight H5, and black's next move is going to be knight F4, putting pressure on the bishop and the G-pawn. So Kuzubov plays knight B3. This is a dual-purpose move. We're stopping knight F4 because we unleashed the latent potential of the bishop on C1. And also, we're preventing the move C5, which attacks white's center because the knight is protecting C5. Okay, so after that, Geary played F6, which you should never do. Now, this is an interesting point in the game. So white wants to play G4, winning the knight. Unfortunately, after G4, black just takes it. Otherwise, black couldn't play F6 because the knight doesn't have a retreat square now. And this pawn is attacked a little bit, but it's defended as much as it's attacked. So he played the move EF6, which is, I think I would have castled if I was white. EF6 is fine. And now Geary can take 4 different ways. He took with the pawn to make sure his pawn structure is stable. Castles. Knight C6, developing a knight. C3. and queen d6. The queen and the knight control the f4 square, so black wants to play knight f4. So the pawn structure is somewhat symmetrical. The bishop is blocked in a lot, so that's not good. But this knight could go to f4 later. So we're out of any kind of normal theory, and the engine likes white a little bit. Thanks to Don Rod for subscribing. Yeah, this is 15-minute with a 3-second increment. And you can see the times right here where my mouse is circling to the left of the thermometer. Okay, and Kuzubov played rook e1, getting the rook to the open file. And in the case of knight f4, white has the option to play bishop f1 and not loses 2 bishops. Okay, Geary played b6. This is to play a5, a4. It also stops the knight from going to c5 especially. It's more of a prophylactic move. The bishop doesn't really want to go to b7 because it's sort of nice on this diagonal here. Just stops knight c5 later. So this is going to be a tough positional game. They're going to maneuver around a lot. And, white's slightly better because this bishop on g7 isn't very good on, sort of blocked. And so forth. All right, let's have a look at another game.
Thanks for the sub, Don Rod. The Don Rod.
This game has a lot of moves, so let's look at this game. This is the game Georg Meyer versus Etienne Buckrow. Meyer always plays knight f3. Meyer always plays g3. Okay, and we have what I like to call a reversed Grunfeld, although theory might call it like a Queen's Gambit Taresh, but it looks like a reverse Grunfeld. Okay, so this is the Grunfeld where white's up a tempo because he's white instead of black. So like in this position, if it was black's turn to move, it would just be a regular Grunfeld with colors reversed, but white gets to go first. Queen a4 threatening the c6 pawn. And Meyer goes into this endgame. You have to take with the king because the d5 pawn needs to be protected. And it's protected twice, so we can't get rid of one of the protectors. Or d1, bishop c5. And white wins a pawn. And this is the position we have now. And black has good compensation for a pawn because black's king is going to be better. And black has, nice, everything about black's position is nice. This pieces aren't very good. So the engine wants to take twice on d5 and play king e6 attacking the rook. Let's see, did I do that? No. Okay, well, that's what happened. Okay, I didn't do that, I just said it. So king e6 exclam. All right, well, it's the most obvious move. And here, white's clearly a pawn up, but the engine only says he's a tiny bit better. Of course, if white gets to develop his pieces and get his king in the center, white's just going to be a pawn up for nothing. So, white wants to play bishop d2, bishop c3, move his king in the center, double his rooks. And black's going to play rook d8 probably. And try to get the open d file. And if they trade rooks, it's hard for this bishop to get out, and we don't really want to allow rook d1 check. So rook h d8 makes the most sense. In this position, up until now, the engine says that black's playing 100. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
100 accuracy is good after you have black on move 17. So... okay, I wonder if Buckrow knows this pawn sacrifice because I haven't seen this before, but this seems, reasonable for black. Okay, let's go around the horn. What other games do we got? It looks like Maksudlu hasn't shown up yet for his game with Flores. That's weird. Okay, and then we have Bortnick Mamedyarov. Bortnick has white. Played bishop's opening. Bishop g5, h6. And his bishop dropped back to e7, breaking the pin. Knight ge2. Okay, so the players are sort of going their own way. D6, bishop G3. That's an unusual move.
Thanks.
I guess white wants to play F4. Yes.
Thanks for the sub squad, Bedge.
Yay. I guess white wants to play F4. But I've never seen a move like this. Bishop G3. Okay, knight A5. This is typical in this opening. We try to get the two bishops, and white hasn't played A3 or A4, so his bishop can't drop back. And black has to play D6 before he plays knight A5, so his E5 pawn isn't hanging. So in this position, well, we could play knight A5 here because there's nothing attacking the E5 pawn. But okay, he waited to play D6 first. Okay, and black played knight H5. This opens up the knight to go to F4 or to take the bishop. Opens up the bishop diagonal. F4. Takes, and C6, because obviously white has a couple of good squares here for his knight, so he just plays C6. And white's playing very aggressively, giving up his two bishops for the two knights, but the engine doesn't like it. The engine says that black has a big advantage with his two bishops and better pawn structure. Yeah, this doesn't look like white has enough attack to give up all his stuff. Wow, and black played H5, trying to take advantage of the weakened white king. Obviously, if knight H5, I play G6 and your knight is pinned. Wow, the engine really hates white's position. Queen F3, but he continues to play quickly. Now the engine plays bishop G4. Pretty natural move.
The king looks pretty naked there.
Yeah. Now the pawn structure, doubled pawns here, isolated pawn here, and black has two bishops against two knights. Yeah, the engine says that black is strategically winning. So not a good start for Bortnick. Queen E3, the engine wants to play bishop F6, which makes sense. Controlling the center, stopping E5. The bishop has a good square on E5 to go to. And probably black will just castle queenside. So bishop F6, queen E7, long castle, bishop E5, H4, G5. And black has a big attack against white's king. And, well, currently the king is pretty safe on E8. I guess that's why he put his queen on E3. So if black ever castles, the A7 pawn is hanging. But yeah, the knights don't have any good squares here. Just nowhere for the white knights to go. So great position for Mamedyarov. Let's see what else we got. Okay, Maksudlu showed up. So that's good. I think he was always here. This is Flores versus Maksudlu. Played a Rady. Rady or not. Okay, very positional game. And nobody's traded any pieces yet. The players just developed and castled and didn't do very much. So it's pretty equal, and probably most grandmasters would slightly prefer to have white, because white fianchetto both of his bishops, and bishop on E7 is slightly passive, very slightly. So, I mean, a tiny advantage for white, but nothing. This game hasn't gotten interesting yet. The players haven't done anything yet. No trades. Let's see. So we got that game. Let's go back to the Meyer Buckrow game, because a lot of stuff has happened. The last position we saw, Meyer played rook D3, rook D8 as I expected, bishop to D2. White gets an isolated pawn. Black plays rook D8, trying to get his pawn back. King F1. Meyer says fine. Take your pawn back. Gets his king to the center. Never play F3. And this is pretty equal, this position. Probably I'd rather have black, because black has nice kingside majority, nice center control, active bishop, active king. But draw is the most likely result with so many things traded off. All right, and this position is just completely equal. I would be surprised if either side could lose this position. nobody really has an advantage. So rook c8. Probably see a draw in this game. Probably black will play bishop b6, stopping rook d8 check. Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason to think that anybody has an advantage here. So that game will probably end in a draw. Wow, a lot of moves in the Bortnick game with Mamedyarov. After queen e3, Mamedyarov surprised me and played queen b6. And they went into this endgame where black has 2 bishops against 2 knights. Bortnick trying to get rid of his isolated pawn. Black, if we take with the pawn, then white can play knight e4, which gives white some active play there on the king side. So you just stick with the bishop. Always play f6. Well, here black's just a pawn up. And white doesn't have any compensation for the pawn. All right, and black's up a pawn. I mean, it has 2 bishops also. The engine already says black is +4. I wouldn't say that, but okay, black is a pawn up with a better position. And he has more time on the clock. So not a great game from Bortnick so far. But yeah, Mamedyarov's tough. He lasted a long time against me when he was white. Okay, we have a draw. Denishvar Vakidov was a draw. Doesn't look too exciting. Let's look at the Geary Kuzubov game again. Let's go back to Rook E1. Okay, so Geary played B6. This is the last position we saw. C4, an explosive move, opening up the center. Check. King H8. D5. D5 is not a move I would play because it blocks the bishop on C4. It gives white the D4 square for his knight. Knight E5. Bishop back to E2, putting pressure on the knight on H5. Bishop B7. And they trade everything. Threatening queen takes G2 mate. Never play F3. Rook E8. Knight D2 is a blunder, it says. This gives up the D4 square because the knight was on B3. It blocks the bishop. Obviously, black wanted to play knight E4. And now the engine says E4 just wins. Knight D2 blocking the bishop. Let's see here. We have an important update. I have a drink. And so forth. Okay, so in this position, the engine was saying E4 is just winning for black, opening up the center while white's pieces on the queen side are quite bad. But Geary played queen F2, threatening queen takes rook with checkmate. And this is also very good for black. Black has the 2 bishops. Black has a more active position. And even though we're on move 21, white hasn't moved his queenside pieces here yet. So this position is still quite good for black. And black has a 4-minute time advantage on the clock, which is pretty important in a 15-minute game. So this is looking good for Geary, not so good for Kuzubov. Obviously, winning with black in the first game is pretty good. Now, we had a request, so I'll try to honor the request.
The Komsky.
I didn't see that.
Oh.
Somebody wanted to see Pichot's game.
Somebody wants to see Komsky.
He's one of the top 5 players in South America. Some people would say he's the best player in South America. He might be. Okay, so Alan Pichot has white. He played E4 against Tarsahakian. They played a Sicilian. Bishop to D3, the Kopek Sicilian. You don't see that too often. White wants to play C3, bishop C2, D4, QED. Or if they started with D4, D5, QGD. Rook E1, bishop B5 check. C3. I think I've had white in this position. Yeah, this is actually theory.
That was weird with the bishop.
Yeah, he moved his bishop a lot here and here
Right.
and here. Yeah.
That's theory.
Yeah, always move your bishop a lot. Well, the theoretical line that I know is what transposes. It's white's plays c3, and then bishop e2, and then castles, and then rook e1, and then check, and then back. Which says it transposes. That's why I know the line, because white plays the same moves, except it's bishop e2 instead of bishop d3. But we get the same position. I've had this position with white, but I've never faced knight e5. This looks like a Benoni now. a5 stopping knight b6. White's knight wants the beautiful c4 square. Knight c4, takes. Rook b3, threatening the c3 pawn. Bishop d2. Knight e5, trying to trade the knight on c4. Knight hops into b6. And then obviously, if both players want to draw, knight d7, knight c4, knight e5, knight b6. But Tarsahakian played the move rook to b2, attacking the bishop on d2. And this position looks better for white. White has, a space advantage in the center, and he has nice pieces, and the knight on b6 is annoying. a6 pawn is weak. Black is defending it here. White can get the two bishops whenever he wants. And also white has a nice time advantage. White played bishop f4 because his bishop was hanging. So that was a good move. Yeah, and white has a better position. And white has a huge time advantage, over 3 minutes. That's not a lot of time in a 25-minute game, just in the early middle game. So whoever wanted to see LNP show, he's doing well. He has a better position. He has a lot more time. But yeah, that makes sense because black, spent all of his time playing on the queen side and didn't get his bishop out. And now his rook is sort of funny. Is his rook good or is his rook going to get trapped? It's semi-trapped now. It can't really be attacked, but I mean, it can't escape. So it's going to be sitting around there for a while. All right, I wonder if we have any more results. Let's see. What else do we need to look at? Geary Kuzubov hasn't done much. Okay, this game is going to be a draw. So before they draw, we'll look at it. It's Tuan Lee versus Bluebaum. They played a semi-Tarish, it looks like. What's funny is this is a reversed c3 Sicilian. So like after the move knight c6, queen d3, if black could make two moves in a row, like bishop e6 and queen b6, he'd have white in a c3 Sicilian. This is actually how I play with black, although I'm not a tempo up usually. So, yep, queen here, bishop, right. So if it was black's move here, I've had this position with colors reversed. Yeah, and I've had this position too with my opponent to move. Queen b5, white wants an endgame. Black says fine. And a lot of trades happened. And they traded more and more. Oh, white avoided a trade. Amazing. So white's slightly better because black has an isolated D pawn, but it's hard for white to break through. More trades. And then white decided to give up playing for a win, I guess, because there's nothing much white can do here. There's no way to do anything. So he just traded off the isolated pawn and got a symmetrical position. Okay, and they have this position, and I guess technically white's better because white's king is better, but all right. There's nothing to do if king d4, I just check you away. Black has more time also. So white's trying to find something to do to get an advantage, but this is going to be a draw. Not the most exciting game. Let's see. We looked at that game. What game didn't we look at yet? Geary Kuzubov we looked at. Okay, so we have Benjamin Gladura. It's all about Benjamins against Salinas Herrera. Looks like Georg Meyer is white, the way he's playing. Queen b6, bishop e3 usually. Yeah. Not queen a6. Okay. Lots of trading. And white has a slight advantage here. White has the two bishops. White has this big threat. Rook c8. Yeah, I don't like white trading on c6 and giving black this nice pawn center. Not a big fan of that. Always repeat. I don't know. Black didn't play bishop a3 and try to repeat and draw. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Something happened. Ooh, that move, it says, is quite bad. Yeah, rook a5 looks good. Now white has a passed a pawn. Yeah. Yeah, now white has two bishops and a passed a pawn. Black's just stopping the a pawn. e4 question mark. Doesn't like that move. Man, white's bishops were good until they weren't. That's what happens in a rapid game. h5 looks normal to me. I wouldn't give it a question mark. It's like a normal move. Stopping, trying to trap black's king a little bit. Okay, so the engine says white's slightly better. It doesn't like when white played e4, which was a big decision. And Salinas has 2 extra minutes on the clock. So this game has 3 possible results. Either side could win or draw. But, this pawn is pretty well blockaded. And bishop d8 can attack the pawn also. So I think black is out of the woods. I think black's not in trouble anymore.
There's a draw.
Okay. So we had a draw in the Swan game with Bluebaum, which I expected. Let's look at Bortnick's game because it's gotten really interesting. It's completely winning for Mamedyarov, but things happen. This is the last position we saw. Rook a8, c5. Bortnick is desperate. Now he's down 2 pawns. g5. Can't double rooks on the 7th rank because the bishop is defending d7. If white trades rooks, then his actually white could trade rooks and take one of these 2 pawns. That's definitely what I would do. But he played here because he wants to play rook e7, double his rooks, and he did. Rook d7, good defense. Ooh, that pins the knight. That's annoying. Okay, and this is the current position. Mamedyarov has a minute more on the clock, and he has 2 extra pawns. If knight takes bishop, black would just take and take back and be up 2 pawns. And this 3-1 is going to win in the rook endgame because the white king isn't really participating. So white doesn't really want to trade pieces. Can't play rook c8 check because the bishop is defending it. Okay, so he played b5 trying to give him tripled pawns, which he might do. He might take it. So black has 2 moves here that make sense. You can take this pawn, or you can play bishop d7, which I think is a more human move. After bishop d7, I think black is just winning. The rook can't move away from the knight, and if the knight takes, we just trade all the pieces off, and black's extra queenside pawns are going to win. He did play bishop d7. Right, this is just the wrap it up time, because they're going to trade all the pieces now, and black's going to have 3-1 on the queenside. and white's king is here. So that's... Even if white's king was stopping the pawns, it wouldn't matter, but pawns are just too strong. I mean, white can think of resigning here, because knight takes, rook takes, king takes is hopeless. Okay, so good game by Mamedyarov. Bortnick's going to have to win with black. Okay, let's look at Flores versus Maksudlu. This game was really positional with no trades. Okay, then we had a6, d4. Then all of a sudden they traded everything. Knight d1, that's an interesting move. Wants to go to e3. Lots of trades.
Vugar's still a no-show.
Wow. That's not good.
They say he'll be forfeiting his second game soon, making Constantine move.
I wonder if he forgot or there's an internet issue. Could be internet issue.
Yeah.
That's more likely, I guess, than forgetting the tournaments going on.
Yeah, I would think that.
Okay, this position's equal, it says. They've traded everything. Yeah, this should just be a draw, I think. I'm not sure who's playing for a win. I mean, white can't win ever because can't play a5. So black could win by doubling on the 7th rank. Problem is white plays queen b6 defending his f-pawn. And the king and pawn ending is winning for white. And then white's going to push. So I don't know how anybody could win this. I guess black could still win by winning this pawn. If black wins this pawn, black has winning chances. I'm not sure how he wins the pawn, but he could, I guess. But okay, the engine says it's a draw. But I guess I'd rather have black because white just can't win. But it should be a draw. Let's see. Somehow, yeah, this is the Meyer game with Buckrow, and this is just trading and trading and trading, and it's going to be a draw. Rook and 3 against rook and 3. Nobody really has the advantage here. I don't think anybody had the advantage this whole game. This is a pretty well played game. So that's going to be a draw. We have a lot of draws. Mamedyarov won against Bortnick. He did play bishop d7. And Bortnick didn't resign, but he didn't play on very long. Yeah, white doesn't have any pawns, so black's going to queen his pawn. He's going to play rook c7. He's going to play king c5, takes pawn. And in this position, Bortnick resigned. All right. So nice win by Mamedyarov. Win with black in the first game. That's always nice. And Bortnick and Mamedyarov have already started their second game. Wow. Didn't expect that one. So this game was drawn between Danishvar and Vokidov. And one thing I've learned about the format, which I learned right now, is they're not playing round one. Then when all the games in round one are done, then they play round two. They're not doing that. If your game is done in round one, it's time for round two. So a lot of the round two games have started because round one is done for them, and the other round one games are still going. So some games are round two, some are round. This game, for example, was a draw a long time ago. As you can see, it's not the most exciting position. And then they're already starting round two. So there you go. And this is Mamedyarov and Bortnick. This is their round two game. And Bortnick has to win with the black pieces. So he's playing a little bit unusual. And he played bishop f5. No. Bortnick's calling me, asking me how to win. Knight h4. This is actually very funny. So if Bortnick plays bishop f5, knight h4, and they repeat, then Mamedyarov wins the match. So Bortnick can't do that. So Bortnick has to do something else. Typically, when you have black against Mamedyarov and you draw in like 8 moves, that's a good result, but not when you have to win. And otherwise, white's going to get the 2 bishops with knight c3 and try to take this bishop. So not easy for Bortnick. Geary Kuzubov versus Geary. Geary is about to win. Geary has 2 extra pawns, and white has nothing to do. And here comes the queenside pawns. c3 should end the game. Geary has 16. They don't have much time on the clock, but Bortnick. I'm sorry. Kuzubov doesn't have any pieces. And the H pawn's hanging, and so forth. Black can just trade rooks and move his king here and win. That's the simplest. Could also take the pawn on h4, but there's no reason to. King just goes to d1. Both sides have 20 seconds, but this isn't tough. Okay, and Kuzubov resigned. Nice win by Geary. Geary wins with black, so Kuzubov has to win with black the next game. So Geary and Mamedyarov, 2 of the favorites, have won with the black pieces. Let's see. Benjamin Bach and Kovalenko. Benjamin Bach won with the black pieces. He just won the game. Andreikin won against Makarian. They're playing game 2. Pichot did win. For the person who was like, show the Pichot game, he did win. Sargsyan Sevian was a draw. Kramnik crushed Ivic. That game didn't last very long. Let's have a look at the Kramnik game. He won a while ago against Ivic. This is very common. Knight f3, g3, bishop g2. We've seen this in several games. Okay, a4. Go Kramnik. Symmetrical position. Nobody traded anything. Finally, black trades. Strategically, probably not correct. c5. Giving away the b5 square. Black has the b4 square for his knight. And then he made the mistake knight b4, knight d3, which basically just loses the game. So in this position, if he takes back with a pawn, he's slightly worse, not much. Position's virtually symmetrical. And he played this move because he wanted to take with the knight. And Kramnik threw in knight d6 on him. And black is already losing in this position. So knight d3 was like a 1-move blunder. Now the knight's hanging, and the bishop's hanging. So he has to play knight takes rook. Queen takes. These are both hanging now, and I have a passed pawn on c5. He takes that. Knight d4. Rawr. Knight b5, threatening knight c7. That's a nice move. Yeah, knight c7 is annoying. c6. And, I mean, black is just completely crushed here. This pawn's too strong. My knight's too strong. Your queen's trapped. Knight d6 is coming. c7's coming. Rook d1's coming. Black's pieces are all disheveled. Bishop h3, also nice. Bishop f6, bishop b2, and black resigned. Wow, what a crush. This queen is just totally dominated. You can never take this pawn because you lose your rook. So white just sits here in this position, and once we trade bishops, my queen comes to f6. I mean, that was a really nice strategical win from Kramnik. It was like old Kramnik, which is the younger Kramnik, which is hard to understand. That was a really nice game from Kramnik. Positional exchange sacrifice, and then black just couldn't move anything. He really showed his class that game.
Yeah, that was interesting. He had all these chances to take the rooks with that bishop. Was so good he didn't do it.
This is the Meyer versus Buckrow. This is completely drawn. Meyer's up a pawn, but he doesn't have any winning chances because black plays king f8, king f7, and moves his rook around. But Meyer's like, I'm up a pawn. And if you check, I go here. If you check, I go here. If you don't check, I move my rook one square. Yeah. And the computer says they both played over a 99. So the game was always a draw. And Meyer decided to repeat, I guess, and the game was drawn. All right, good game from Meyer and Buckrow. They drew their first game. That might be the last game of the round. Flores Maksudlu was a draw. Buckrow Meyer was a draw. Mamedyarov beat Bortnick. Danishvar Vokidov was a draw. Geary won against Kuzubov. Bluebaum Lee was a draw. Gladura and Salinas drew. Ardia and Hakobian drew. Benjamin Bach won against Kovalenko. Makarian won against Andreikin. Look at this final position. Now that's checkmate. That's a mild upset. And I am beating Andreikin, who's a very good rapid player. Man, the engine is not happy with Andreikin's play this game. That's a nice checkmate. Mm-hmm. Also, if white didn't checkmate, black was threatening making a queen with checkmate. So black could have also played checkmate after he got checkmated, but I guess the rules don't allow that. Okay, I'll wrap up round one. Kramnik also won his game against Ivic very nicely. Let's see, and Peugeot won his game against Salsahakian. Peugeot was a very nice game. And Sargsyan Sevian's a draw. Kramnik won. Komsky won with black against Theodoru. We didn't look at that game, but that's a good final position. That's pretty checkmatey. And typically I would make the joke that white's threatening checkmate, but he's not because the rook is defending it. So you can't even make a joke about it. So Komsky wins with black against Theodoru, and Theodoru has to win with black against Komsky or the match is over. These are 2-game matches. So if you lose the first game, you must win the second game. And one of the matches is over. Vokidov won against Danishvar. This is their second game. And black is getting mated and black's down a bishop. Not sure why black's down a bishop. That's not good. Getting mated is one thing, but being down a bishop, you can't do that. Okay, so Vokidov won his match against Danishvar, but when you get knocked out in the first round like he's doing, you're still in the event. You play in the loser's bracket, and you can still win the event. I mean, he won't win the event, but you could. It's possible. So that's the first match that's over.
And Vugar was forfeited from match 1.
No. Truth hurts.
Yeah, so I guess he can't make it.
Let's see. So Mamedyarov, Bortnick are playing their second game. And Mamedyarov has white. We saw this position after knight h4. He took the knight on b1. Very suspicious. And white just has 2 bishops here and a space advantage. So this is a very nice position for white. Black is going all out to win, but, you know, it doesn't like f4 because it gives away some of white's advantage. But Mamedyarov was just making sure the game is, he can't lose. And this is the current position. The engine says white's slightly better. Black does have a lot more time on the clock. So that's one thing in Bortnick's advantage here. But, okay, white has more space. E7 is weak. We're crashing over on the queen side. Black has to hope for some attack against white's king, but I don't really see it. E6 looks completely natural. The engine says question mark. You can't lose your pawn. E6 looks fine. So the engine likes white. It says white should play h4, bishop f4, blocking the f file, and then continue playing on the queen side. Bortnick has to win to tie the match. Then they have an Armageddon game if it's 1-1, which we'll see some today, I guess. That match is over. Kuzubov has to win with black against Geary. It's a Catalan.
Hey, Percival, how's it going?
Black plays the unusual bishop d7. Never seen this position. And black has to win this game since Geary won the first game. This is Geary white against Kuzubov. If you're a Geary fan, you're looking good. The position is better for white, and Geary's not going to lose with white. Geary was drawing with white before Kuzubov was born. And I think Kuzubov is older. So that's hard to imagine. Geary will play e3. I guarantee it. Although he might play a3. But he'll play e3. And white is very slightly better. A Geary amount of better. Okay, that game we looked at. That's the Geary game. Okay, this is Bluebaum is white against Tuan Lee. They drew their first game. Now, this says that white just blundered with bishop h3. Bluebaum. Queen c2 Slav. Okay, black equalized pretty quickly. Black has no trouble here at all. And he played the move bishop h3. So this is a tactical miscalculation, I guess. I'm not sure what he missed. He probably missed bishop takes f3. That's what he missed. Okay, so the reason this move is bad is after hg, bishop takes rook, queen takes, queen c3. The idea is I'm threatening the knight. The only way to defend the knight is to play king d7, but then knight e5 check wins because the knight's pinned. So that's what Bluebaum saw. But the engine says I just take the knight. And then I play king d7, I have two pieces for rook. So I don't know if Bluebaum missed that or he saw that but misevaluated the position because the engine doesn't like his position. So we shall see. I will refresh. Always refresh.
I'm going to head upstairs.
And
I'll be back.
Yay, go Karen. And if he doesn't play bishop takes, if he doesn't play hg, which is the right move, he could play f5, which is, he might also play if he doesn't like hg. If he doesn't like that resulting position, which the engine likes a lot. I wouldn't give a double question mark, maybe one question mark. But he's forcing Tuan Lee to think a lot because it's very tactical. So hopefully he takes the bishop because I want to see those tactics. You'll be back around 2 if you're back?
Probably before then.
Hooray.
We were doing it last time these days.
Okay. Buckrow and Meyer playing their second game. They drew their first. Buckrow has white, obviously a French defense. Meyer always plays the French with black. What's funny is I did a lecture on Wesley So a few days ago, and he had a game with Varakobian, and Wesley played bishop e3 here. That was in the U.S. Championship in 2017. Knight e5 was played by Buckrow. a6, stopping bishop b5 check. Bishop b6 is funny, stopping b5. Okay, now after castles, black's threatening the bishop because the knight's not pinned anymore. So he has to move his bishop away. Knight c5 question mark, it says. It says he should play b5. Now it says Buckrow can play the Greek gift. Bishop takes, queen h4 check, knight g5. And it says white's winning. So bishop takes h7 wins the game. This is a big blunder from Meyer. And Buckrow's having a think. Yeah, the engine just says bishop, and he did play bishop h7. It's a long-lasting attack. It goes king g8, knight g5, rook d8, and after like queen h7 check, white just castles, and black's king is no good. King g6 actually gets checkmated, so you got to play king g8. And just white's attack is too strong. Black's king is just suffering the whole game, and black's pieces over here are quite bad. So really nice sacrifice from Buckrow, because it doesn't lead to mate, but it leads to a winning position. So this we're gonna keep an eye on this game. This is interesting. Okay, now he'll play knight g5 for sure. And then I guess he'll play rook d8. He could play rook e8, but he's got to stop queen h7 mate. So nice sacrifice from Buckrow. Let's look at one of the top players' games like Kramnik or Geary. One of those guys. Those guys are playing in the tournament. Let's see. Sevian and Sargsyan drew both of their games. Second game was drawn pretty quickly. Wow, they're already playing their Armageddon game. Wow. So this is Sevian, Sargsyan. This is Armageddon. White started with more time, and black has draw odds. So if this game is a draw, then Sargsyan wins the match. And he just made a double question mark blunder, it says. Although it says it leads to a draw. So I guess he was winning. Well, this is just an unclear position. Either side can win this. Wow, we're already in an Armageddon game. That's games are going quickly. Okay, this is Mamedyarov's game. Looks really tough for black to win this. Black has to win. Because he lost the first game, Bortnick. It doesn't like the move f7. It says queen e1's better. I like f7. White's going to play queen e1, queen f2, and eventually white's going to be winning. But black has to win. So it's going to be tough for black to win this. Wait, what did I do? Oh, I did something wrong. How could I do something wrong? I will refresh, then it'll be less wrong. Okay, so bad position for Bortnick. Looks like Mamedyarov is going to wrap that up. I just want to point out that Tuan Lee did everything right. He did play h takes g5. And he did take the knight on f3 and play king d7. And white played rook c2. White wants to play rook c1. So Bluebound probably saw this and thought he was doing well here, but the engine doesn't agree. This is a really nice computer line that it's giving. The computer line is bishop g7, knight takes d4, takes, check, knight takes rook, rook takes knight, bishop takes b2, and the engine prefers black here. Black has 2 pawns and a bishop for a rook, and a passed d pawn, 3-1 on the queen side. White's pawns are doubled here, so it's hard to get a passed pawn. So the engine likes black here. This could actually happen. It could. That line's relatively forced, so we could see that. Let's go to the Buckrow game with Meyer for a second. Knight g5, rook d8. He did castle. Bishop d7. And yeah, white just plays rook he1, queen h7 check, and black's king is going to be suffering for the next, many moves. And Meyer probably thought this was defensible, and the engine and Buckrow don't agree. So very interesting piece sacrifice. The engine likes it, and Meyer's like, yeah, whatever, I'm fine. My king is safe enough. So we'll see if Buckrow can bring the point home, or if Meyer can defend better than Buckrow attacks. I'm trying to get to the bottom here and see games we haven't seen yet. Okay, we have Kramnik's game with Ivic. This game is going to be a draw, and Kramnik will win the match. Wow, Ivic only has 2 seconds left. Yeah, and this is just completely drawn. This move actually loses the pawn. King here wins the pawn. But it doesn't matter. The king goes back. They agreed to a draw here. But even here when black wins the pawn, white plays king g2 and draws. And this is a well-known draw. So Kramnik was even better in the final position. Who would have thunk it? Maksudlu, Diego Flores. Maksudlu's white. They drew the first game. This is the second game. And position's about equal. It's a Queen's Gambit declined. Black has no trouble at all here. Black's got nice development, control of e4. So this position's about equal. Time is about equal. Probably Armageddon. They traded rooks in Mamedyarov's game. I'm not sure how. That's how. Yeah, and this position is just a draw. White has perpetual. Black will have perpetual. Queen d6 check is just perpetual check. So, yeah. And then he'll just check forever and Mamedyarov wins the match. Queen d8 check, etc. There's no way to escape the checks. There's nowhere to go. So Mamedyarov is going to win his match against Bortnick with perpetual check, unless Bortnick checkmates himself. All right. And the game ended in a draw. Mamedyarov wins his match. Good match by Mamedyarov. Always in control. Let's see. I still haven't gotten to Komsky or Kramnik. Komsky won his match. He had white against Theodoru, and he won the first game with black, and this game they agreed to a draw. Symmetrical position. Komsky had white. So Komsky wins the match against Theodoru and goes on to the second round. So Komsky and Mamedyarov have won their matches. So has Vokidov. There's a Armageddon game between Sargsyan and Sevian, which is going on right now. Rasulov didn't show up for his match with Lupulescu. So Lupulescu wins in a walkover. And it looks like Meshkov didn't show up. He loses to Santos Latasa. So Kramnik wins his match. Mamedyarov wins his match. Geary's looking good. Pichot's looking good. Andreykin needs to win this game. He lost the first game. And he has a good position, very dynamic position. Black's up a piece, but the position's all crazy. So if you need to win, it's good to have this crazy position. The engine actually prefers white, even though black is up a piece, because black's king is terrible. White has two connected pass pawns in the center. So totally wild position, crazy game. Andreykin needs to win against Makarian, and he has to play bishop e5 now, stopping queen takes h2. And totally wild position, but looks good for Andreykin. Let's look at the Meyer game again. Buckrow castled, played queen h7, queen h8, queen g7, threatening queen f7 mate. Bishop e8, knight h7, coming in on f8 or f6. Knight e4, stopping queen f6 check. The engine doesn't like it. Always play f3. And bishop a4, threatening the rook on d1. F takes e4. Now white's down the exchange, but white's completely winning because bishop g5 check is coming. So this is just over. So Buckrow's going to win his match against Meyer. Basically a one-move blunder from Meyer playing knight c5, allowing bishop h7 check. Just underestimating White's attack. Right now, White's up 2 pawns. Like in this position right here. Just checking my information. All right, that was good information. Okay, they traded on d1. White has 2 pawns for an exchange and a mating attack. Bishop g5 check is coming. And, I mean, the engine plays bishop f4, which just loses a piece to queen f6 check. Now we take on f7, take on e6. This is totally one-sided game. e5 is also winning. He'll play e5, he'll play queen f7, they both win. So Buckrow's going to win the game. Meyer's only hope is Buckrow gets in really bad time trouble, but his position is so winning, I think it doesn't matter. He played queen f7, engine approved. Queen takes e6. The truth hurts. And White has 4 pawns and a knight for a rook, plus the black king is perpetually in trouble. Really nice match by Buckrow, the whole match. These matches are over. Let's look at Geary and Kuzubov. Let's go back to knight b6. Okay, this is where I guaranteed he'd play e3, and he did. Castles, e5. Again, black must win this game. Black lost the first game. White has the 2 bishops. White also has the Vatals. f4, trying to open up this bishop and stopping black from playing f4. b4 is a miss. Well, the edge says bishop f3 is the best move. I'm not sure what kind of miss that is. Very nice position for White. g4. Even though White needs a draw, White still has to play the best moves. So g4, rook g1, opening up the g line for White's rook, and his bishops are active. Very poor position for black. Threatening the e4 pawn. This rook is terrible. This bishops are great. The rook has the open g line. This bishop's not doing very much. So White's winning. White has twice as much time. And if you play knight takes e3, that walks into queen takes e4 check. Yeah, it looks just terrible position for black. So black is losing and black needs to win. So it looks like Geary's probably going to win this match 2-0. So if you're a Geary fan, you should be very happy now. This is funny, like White could perpetual... No, I'm sorry, White drew the first game, so he has to win. Queen d4 is the engine move. Queen b3 is also good. Any move is good. Not trading queens is good. Even trading queens is good. White, he sacrificed the exchange, and the engine agrees. The engine says that's... The engine didn't play that move. Then after he played it, said, oh yeah, that's a good move. So bishop f4 check, bishop, queen, and knight. He knew that there had to be a mate. These pieces not defending. None of these pieces can defend the black king. Buckrow with less than a minute left. Bishop check, and queen coming in, bishop coming in, the knight. And this is going to be a checkmate soon. Could also play queen d5 check first, or he could play e5 check. All the moves win. But his time is getting down to 30 seconds. So he's got to make a decision. Really nice game by Buckrow. Really lots of sacrificing. Lots of accurate play. "17 seconds. Wow. Okay, queen d5 is good. Now he should play king c7. King e7 gets beat really quickly. He has to go back to c7. Yeah, the engine doesn't like queen d5 check as much as bishop f4 check or e5 check. Still winning for white, but not as winning. And Meyer has to find king c7. King e7 walks into the teeth of white's pieces. Yeah, Buckrow played way too slowly. King c7 is correct. King b8 gets mated by bishop f4, so he has to play king d7. Then knight f6 check is going to come, and he played it. King e6 is the only legal move. That's funny. Queen g5 is the best move, but any human's going to play queen f5 check. I don't understand queen g5. Queen f5 check makes sense. King d6 is supposed to be better than king e7, which is hard to believe. It's a good old-fashioned hunting the black king with these three pieces. Plus, the e-pawn is helpful. Queen f4 is winning. e5 is winning. Bishop f4 looks very reasonable to me. e5 is the engine choice. It's hard to believe black can survive. Wow, white has 3 seconds left. Well, that was a very bad move, queen d5. King c7 gets mated again, but king e7, we have to play queen g5. That's a mistake too. Now queen e6. Now it's starting to look like Buckrow's not going to win because Buckrow only has 8 seconds left. Yeah, he really took a lot of time, Buckrow. He was playing the right moves, then he sort of faltered. Meyer might play king f7 because after queen e6, knight e5 check, we're going to trade a lot. And then it's easier to play white because there's not much material on the board. And he might think with Buckrow having 8 seconds left, it's better to play king f7 and let white have some choice of how to attack. But the engine plays queen e6. All right, let's look at some other games. That game was pretty interesting. See what else is going on. Geary's about to win his match. This is Geary against Kuzubov. Geary won the first game. This is funny. The engine wants to play bishop takes knight in this position. I don't think Geary's going to play that. I think Geary's just going to take the pawn. Okay, and he did. And you can see Geary has an extra minute, plus he has an extra pawn, plus he has the 2 bishops. And he won the first game. So Geary's either going to win on the board or win on the clock or both. And if you're a Geary fan, once again, you should be happy. Geary's going to win his match. They had an Armageddon game. Oh, wait. Is this the Armageddon game? Yeah, they drew this is the second game which they drew. Okay, this was that crazy game they played. So Bluebaum and Tuan Lee are going to play an Armageddon game. This is Maksudlu versus Flores. Maksudlu's just a pawn up for nothing. And he has 3 minutes more on the clock. So no reason to believe he won't win. Looks good for Maksudlu. The first game was a draw. This game's looking good for white. If you're a Maksudlu fan, you should be pretty happy now. All right, what's going on here? He played queen e5, knight d5, and now the engine wants to play rook takes knight, and go into this terrible endgame after queen takes. But instead he played king f7, queen f4 check, king g8, queen g5 check, and they're repeating, and then queen g3 check. White doesn't want to draw. White still has a crushing attack. White sacrificed the most exchanges he could. He sacrificed 2 exchanges. Two minor pieces for 2 rooks. Bishop d4, that's a good move. Threatening queen g7 check, getting all the pieces into the attack. The engine wants to play rook takes d5 now. Still good winning chances for White, but look at his time situation. 9 seconds. 9. Whoa, queen takes e4. Whoa, that's a bad move. Meyer played queen takes e4. And now queen e7 check is winning. This is very nice geometry, and he played it. If king takes knight, queen takes b7 check wins the queen. And if king f5, queen here wins. Yet Meyer didn't see that. Meyer saw queen g7, king here, but he assumed, since the knight is attacked, that White would play knight c7 check or something. He just didn't see king takes knight, queen takes b7 check. Okay, well now the game's over. Yeah, okay. And it's this, you can win the queen the same way if you play king f5, queen h7 check wins the queen. And also leads to mate, but. Okay, now this game's over. And Meyer resigned. So that was a really big blunder by Meyer at the end. Queen takes e4. He simply didn't see this queen e7, queen b7. Nice geometry. But Buckrow saw it. So Buckrow beats Meyer. Buckrow's on to the next round. Meyer's going to be kicking himself for getting his opponent down in a few seconds and then blundering. Tough game. All right, so we have a lot of matches that are over. Geary's match is over. He won against Kuzubov. Total checkmating attack against the king. Geary goes on to the next round. Mamedyarov goes on the next round. Kramnik goes on to the next round. Komsky goes on to the next round. The rich get richer. Okay, this is an Armageddon game between Swan Lee and Bluebaum. White starts with more time. Bluebaum has to draw the game and he wins the match. Swan Lee is forced to win, but he gets White in more time. What happens is the players both bid on time. The person who bids the lowest time gets that time. Then they can pick black with draw odds or White has to win. And they almost always pick black. Nice to have draw odds. Okay, this game's been going for a while. This is the Maksudlu game with Diego Flores. White is not only up a pawn, White's up 6 minutes on the clock. So that's not good for Diego Flores. Being down a pawn is one thing. Being down 6 minutes on the clock, that's probably worse. So very difficult position for black. Looking good for Maksudlu. Any other round 2 games going on? We have the Armageddon. Benjamin Gladura lost his match to Salinas Herrera. This is the final position. White's up 10,000 pawns and black resigned. So Benjamin Gladura is out. Salinas Herrera wins his match. It's all about the Benjamins, but not this tournament. No. Boo. And who won this game? The first game was a draw. Aradia won his match against Hakobian. He won on time and he won on the board. So Hakobian is out. Remember, not Varakobian. And not a Copian, but a Jacobian. And don't forget it. He plays in the U.S. a lot, too. He's Armenian, but he plays a lot in the U.S. So Jacobian's out. Aradia is on to the next round. When people are out, they're still in the tournament. It's a knockout event, so you can continue to play in the losers bracket. Wow, this game is still going on, and it's all crazy. So Benjamin Bach won the first game, and now he's down 3 pawns, and they both have seconds left. But the engine says it's a draw, except that move is a blunder. He should have played king takes pawn. Oh, snap! Queen a6 check. Didn't see that one. Benjamin Bach just missed that. Yeah, king c6 loses, check, and then check. Very nice puzzle rush. Really nice. He just didn't see queen a6 check. And in this position, the engine says king takes pawn is a draw. Why would you not take the pawn? Wonder why he didn't take the pawn. Like, why would you go here instead? What's the advantage? I don't know. It says king here also draws. Wow. I'm not sure why he didn't take the pawn. I would take the pawn without thinking. King b4 is also a draw. Down 3 pawns. Wow. All right, so Benjamin Bach won the first game, but he lost with white in the second game, so they're going to have an Armageddon. And then this Armageddon is going on now. Kovalenko, Bach, Armageddon is going to start soon. Wow, Makarian won with black against... Wow. Wow, Makarian, who's an IM, he beat Andreykin 2-0. Wow. And white had a good position there, but black got an extra queen. So Makarian with the upset, beating Andreykin. And IM beating a very strong GM, 2-0. What a crazy game that was. So Makarian's on to the next round. I've never heard of Makarian, but I have now. Andreykin is out, although he can play in the loser's bracket. Okay, and Pichot did lose with black. Pichot has black in this position, and he lost against Tersahakian after Pichot won the first game. So now they're playing an Armageddon game. If all these windows open, terrible. And this is looking like Flores really fought back well. Flores was down a pawn the whole game. Now he's down a pawn, an ending that looks drawn to me. He still has 5 minutes less on the clock, which isn't good. Yeah, but if you're a Diego Flores fan, he's not out of it anymore. This is getting closer to a draw than a win. Maksulu with the extra double pawn. All right, let's look at the Sevian game. Where's Sevian at? Oh, is it over? It is over. Sevian wins with his extra queen and rook. Yeah, that'll do it. So Sevian wins his match against Sarksian, and Sam goes on to the next round. He wins in the Armageddon game after 2 draws. White wins. It seems like white's pretty winning there. So Sevian wins his match. Maksulu trying to make use of his extra pawn, and more importantly, his extra 5 minutes. Man, that's a good time advantage. So white's up a pawn. It's a doubled pawn, but black didn't play f6, which the engine wanted to play, and because now white's getting his pawns active. So white has a lot of space advantage on both sides of the board, and he's up 5 minutes on the clock. So still looking good for Maksudlu. Most of the matches are over. This is Tuan Lee versus Bluebaum. Again, if you ever see an Armageddon game, that means that black has draw odds. If black draws the game, he wins the match. Okay, white is slightly better, and more importantly, white has 4 minutes more on the clock. So that's fair. White's better, white has more time, and black has draw odds. Very reasonable. White has ensconced his pieces into black's position here. Has the two bishops. More space on all sides of the board. Well, he had the two bishops until he didn't. Now he has the d6 square, so the knight can hop into d6 later. This bishop is really nice on the long diagonal. Very passive for black. Black is stuck on the first and second ranks. And two isolated weak pawns also. So excellent winning chances for Tuan Lee. Bluebaum has a tough defensive task ahead. But if he draws, he wins the match. So he's got chances. This is Maksudlu versus Flores. This says that queen b6 check is just winning. I'm not sure why it wins after f6 takes, queen takes. But, oh, I guess this pawn's hanging on b7. Whoops. Ooh, that's not good. You can't lose that. So Maksudlu's winning now. He only has 3 minutes more on the clock, but that should be enough. Queen b6 check is winning, according to the engine. Oh, and he took on h6. Not a good move. Again, white still has a big advantage. White's up a pawn. White has more space, and white has the big time advantage. So tough position for Flores still. 30 seconds for Flores. Let's see what else we got. Almost all the matches are over. Bluebaum has got himself an excellent position from before. He kicked out the white queen. He's got the d file. He's very safe. He's played c5. The black's position's fine here. He is down 3.5 minutes on the clock, but the position turned around a lot in the last 30 seconds. c4 is explosive. Very good. No, this is fine for black. And Bluebaum has draw odds. So draw odds and a 3-minute time advantage. That's fair. 50-50. Let's see what else is happening. I think we've looked at almost all of the games and the matches. Okay, this is the Armageddon game. Pichot won the first game. Tersahakia won the second game. This is the Armageddon game. This looks really bad for black. He just played rook g8. Wow. It's not a move I would have considered. Black needs to draw, and he wins the match. And after e4, it seems like white just has a big advantage. And a big advantage on the clock also. Very tough position. I guess if I open a second window, it still looks good on the screen. And that's the important thing. A big blunder here by Bluebaum. Just a tactical mistake. In this position, he played a5, positional move, undefending his knight. And then white just played knight e2. And if the rook moves away, your knight's hanging. So a5 is a really terrible tactical blunder. Then he has to give the exchange away. And, well, white should be very close to winning here. White just has to pick up this pawn. Could trade rooks and play rook b1. And his queen, knight, and rook should be able to pick up this pawn. And then he'll just be winning. So good winning chances for Tuan Lee now. A5 just a blunder from Bluebaum. And he did play e4, Tarsahakian, and Pichot played g4. And then bishop h4, pinning the knight. This is a very bad position for black, and his time situation is not good. If you're a Pichot fan, the truth hurts. Well, another move Engine doesn't like, opening up this diagonal. Now bishop h5 is a good move. But yeah, e5, okay, d5, also good. Yeah, this position is just losing for black. Knight e3, knight f5. Yeah, the king isn't good. Pieces aren't good. Passed pawn. King h1, very safe. This is strategically just winning for white. White's going to play knight e3 to f5 soon. King f8, indicating he might want to go to g7 and hide, but again, this prevents that. So it's looking bad for Pichot. Tuanli hasn't moved yet. This is the game Maksudlu Diego Flores. It's a perpetual check, so Flores is going to draw. He can just keep checking him. There's no way to escape. Wow, a great save by Flores. He was in trouble the whole game, and he was losing at various points. Sorry, I've been ignoring the chat, but it's a rapid tournament, and there's 16 games going on. So, Typically, when I watch commentary, and we have a tournament like this, the commentators follow 1 or 2 games and ignore the other 13. I don't do that. I just look at all the games. But yeah, this is going to be a draw. Maybe my analysis isn't so good, but this will be a draw. That's good analysis. See? Like that analysis? Okay, and they drew. Very lucky draw by Flores. Now they're going to play an Armageddon. Speaking of Armageddon, I'm surprised he hasn't moved yet. I wonder if it's my... No, he just hasn't moved yet. That's weird. Okay, so Maksudlu and Flores played 2 draws. They're going to play Armageddon. Buckrow won his match against Meyer. Mamedyarov won his match against Bortnick. Vokidov won his match against Danishvar. Geary won his match 2-0 against Kuzubov. They're playing Armageddon now, Blue-Blom and Lee. Salinas won his match against Gladura, 1.5-half. Aradia won his match against Hakobian, 1.5-half. They're playing Armageddon right now. They traded wins with black in Benjamin Bach Kovalenko. In this match, both sides won with black. Now look at these times. See these times? That means that white won the bid, and he decided to have the white pieces, and he's giving black draw odds and more time. That's a surprising decision. So Kovalenko bid for less time and decided to choose white. So he's giving draw odds. And what's funny is black won both games this match. Okay, and they're very early in the opening. And they did make a lot of moves in this game. Rook b1 was played. Engine doesn't like that. Rook c4. Knight takes a4. Knight c5. And white has an advantage, but black has draw odds. So white has to win this game. And, black has good chances to draw. Black's very solid. And the time situation is about the same. So it's anybody's guess who's going to win this match. Obviously, if black didn't have draw odds, white would be doing great here. But white must win, or he loses the match. Okay, and this is Kovalenko and Benjamin Bach. Kovalenko has white. Benjamin Bach has draw odds and the more time. Kovalenko decided to take white. That's unusual. Bach playing the Berlin. Yeah, it's sort of like a Berlin. It's like an anti-Berlin. Not an Uncle Berlin. Let me see if there's more games going on. Or if those are the only two. Okay, so we have Bluebaum is black against Swan Lee. And we have Benjamin Bach is black against Kovalenko. Oh yeah, Tersahakian versus Pichot. I forgot about those guys. Okay, and White's completely winning. White was winning like 10 moves ago. Now he's still winning. White's up 2 pawns. And he has the 2 bishops. Rook c8 is a threat. The rook is trapped on g7. And black has less time. Black resigned. Tersahakian makes a comeback and wins his match against Pichot. Pichot won the first game. Tersahakian won the second game. And then in the Armageddon game, Tersahakian won. So I think there's only 2 games left. But let me double check. See if I can find a third game. Nope, I can't find a third game. Okay, so we just have the 2 games left. We have Tuan Lee playing Bluebaum. And we have Benjamin Bach is black against Kovalenko. Again, in both of these games, these are Armageddon games, black has draw odds. So if black draws the game, he wins the match. Bluebaum won the pawn on e5. This pawn's going to fall. And rook and 4 versus knight and 3. Knight and 4 versus rook and 3 is a draw. But black traded pawns because he wants more pawns off the board. White's not going to take this pawn because he knows that's a drawn endgame. Although white has winning chances. But he would prefer to keep all the pieces on if he can. So this is looking more like a draw than a win. And if it's a draw, then Bluebaum wins the match. Tuan Lee needs to win. And this game just started. Kovalenko chose white for the Armageddon game. He's down 4 minutes on the clock, and he must win. And black is already equalized, in my opinion. Black's position is completely fine. So tough position for white. In the Armageddon, typically people want to have black, but some want to have white. Some just like to have white. They figure there's not so many draws, and it seems like the longer the time control, the more you'd want to have black. You know, if it's a 3-minute game, there's not going to be a lot of draws. But if it's like a 15-minute game, you can see a lot more draws. There's more mistakes the quicker the time control. It says double question mark. Double question mark, what? Knight d7 double question mark. Oh, rook d5 just wins a pawn. Then the knight's attacked and it hangs this pawn. You had to play knight g4 there, it says. Yeah, I mean, this just wins a pawn. Attacks the knight moves away, you take the pawn. So that was a miss. Man, knight's bad on h7. Now this seems more like a win than a draw. Because he got to keep the knights on the board. So black is just very passive. Black's stuck defending the f6 pawn. Both sides have a minute, so anything could happen. There's a lot of knights on the board, so there's lots of forks that people miss. Never play f3. f4. Threatening mate. Rook d8 question mark. Looks all right. Both sides have less than a minute. If black draws, he wins the match. If white wins, he wins the match. Now white's threatening. Well, he stopped it. Rook check, rook takes. But the knight stopped it here. Keeping his rook on a dark square and his king on a white square. Yeah, now white's just completely winning. And Tuan Lee wins the match. Although he hasn't resigned yet. But oh, give me the knight. Two knight. Wow, he's making a mate with the queen. Wow. Those Germans aren't all smiles and sunshine. Okay, and Tuan Lee wins his match in 101 moves. Wow, tough game. Manmoth 1990 subscribe. Thank you. All right, let me go check and see see who, gave subs and bits and stuff so I can thank everybody. Could have been nobody. Manmoth resubscribed. Hooray. Yeah, it's nobody. Suad Beitovich subscribed, but Karen got that. Oh, Marriott today subscribed. I didn't even know he was here. Go Marriott today. You're the best. Min wins. Min Lee wins the game. Okay, that means there's one game left. It's this game. Kovalenko versus Benjamin Bach. I've said it many times, and I'll say it again. Black has draw odds. Let me slack some people. Cut me some slack. Match just started. Well, that answers my question. In the game Kovalenko, Benjamin Bach, Kovalenko chose 10:48 and Benjamin Bach chose 11:25 for how much time they start with. The person who has less time gets to pick what color they have, and then he chose white. So that's amazing. In Tuan Lee versus Bluebaum, Tuan chose 11:30 and Bluebaum chose 11:26. Wow. So Bluebaum chose black, and as you can see, he just lost. So it looks like other matches are starting soon also for the next round. Let me check. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if the next round was going to start today or not. Well, I'll just go to the game that we have and I'll ask in the chat. There's only one game left. Okay, this is the only game left. Kovalenko, Benjamin Bach. Kovalenko won the bidding war, then he chose white. And so far, he doesn't have any advantage. Let's see what people are saying to me. You're the worst commentator ever. I hate you. Man, tough family. Man. Okay. I'm the best or something. Shouldn't Flores be playing Armageddon? Yes. You're correct. Yeah, you're right. I was wrong. You're right. Yeah, against Maksudlu, right? That game hasn't started yet. No, you're right. Flores Maksudlu is playing Armageddon. That's correct. They haven't started their Armageddon game yet. But you are correct. You got it right. You knew what you were talking about. So that'll be the last game of this round. Okay, so there is a whole set of second round today. So we're going to see a second round after the Armageddons are done. And what's going to happen in the second round is there's 16 people who won. They're going to play each other in a knockout. Then there's 16 people who lost. They're going to play each other in a knockout. And then those knockouts go forever. And then when there's one left in each knockout, the person who won the loser's bracket has to beat the winner twice on Sunday. So if you lose, the loser's bracket is anybody who loses going from, you have to lose twice basically to be out of the tournament. So if you're a big fan of somebody and they lost, they could still win the tournament. It could happen. Okay, so black has draw odds, and black has 2 extra minutes, and the engine says white is slightly better. So that's all fair. Kovalenko, Bach, and the Maksudlu-Flores match, I'll show you when the game starts. Yeah, it's double elimination. No, Bortnick lost, but he's got to still play his next match. Everybody who lost is still in the tournament, and they're still playing knockout. They just play in the loser's bracket. The winner of the loser's bracket plays the winner of the winner's bracket on Sunday, and the loser bracket guy has to win twice to win the tournament. So even if somebody lost their first match, they can still win the whole event. Not likely, but possible. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. The more you donate, the more you enjoy the coverage. Go the coverage. I'll be doing this for 5 days. It'll be similar format, except as the days go on, there'll be less people and less matches because people are knocked out. So if I'm right, there'll be 8 people knocked out today. That sounds right. Then there'll be, like almost every day there's 8 people knocked out. There's 32 people to start. So that makes sense. Knock out 8 people a day, 4 people a day. And then on Sunday, there's 2 people left. Shaq, Geary, and Vlad in Division 3. And Draken's in Division 3, and he lost 0-2 to an IM. Man, the truth hurts. Shaq, Geary, and Vlad and Komsky all won. Those are the most famous people, I think. Komsky's opponent was higher rated than him, but he took care of him. Komsky didn't seem like he had any trouble. Knight A5, why is the knight over there? The engine always wants to play bishop F8. That threatens the d-pawn by discovery. The engine discovered it. Bishop F8. See, the knight was attacking C5, so it was tough for black to get any counterplay, but now this pawn's way defended. And this pawn isn't attacked, so bishop F8 is possible. Bishop F8 makes sense because the knight's coming to C6. Never play F6. So the engine said bishop F8, and the player played F6. The engine's like, boo, boo. Never play F6. Although, if you want to boo, which I do, I like saying boo, look at White's time. Boo! 2 minutes to 5. That's not good for White. And White's the one who chose less time and wanted to have White. Wow, he traps his knight on a7, goes to c6. Bishop f8. Always play bishop f8. Now this pawn is weak on d3. This knight is trapped. Yeah, the engine actually prefers black here. That's right, man, Moth. Everything you said was right. If White cheats and puts his knight here, is he better? I don't know, c6. Maybe. Probably not. Got to cheat better than that. You can cheat h5 looks good. That's good cheating. Or a7. Oh, snap. Man, look at White with his 1 minute on the clock. Terrible. So White's up a pawn. White's down 4 minutes on the clock, and White must win. The engine prefers black. The engine thinks black is better. It doesn't care about this missing a pawn. Black is very active, and White has this backward weak d pawn. Now it wants to play rook a8, so the knight is more trapped. And he did play rook a8, threatening bishop b7. Man, he'll be Bach. It's all about the Benjamins. Yeah, if you knight c6 is more or less forced, but he can't play it. Knight c6, rook a8 is repeating, so he has to play some other move, but the engine says that's terrible. Bishop takes c4, double exclam. He just missed that. Yeah, he just didn't see bishop takes c4. He was looking at rook takes d3. Well, now black's winning. Black has 4 minutes extra, and black has draw odds. Yeah, just bishop a6, and black's winning. This is a weak pawn, terrible knight. Bishop e5, also good. Okay, you could take a pawn. Taking pawns is good. Rook a8's good, attacking the a pawn. Not really a good defense. So black has a winning position, black has more time, and black has draw odds. It's all about the Benjamins. All right, let me see if the other game is going on yet. It could be. No, Maksudlu, Flores, they don't have their Armageddon up yet. That's weird. Wonder why they haven't started yet. They're supposed to tell me when they start, and they didn't tell me. I thought maybe they forgot. I'm going to ask in Slack. Okay. I don't know why they haven't started the Armageddon game yet. That's weird. Man, the truth hurts. If I ever write a book, The Truth Hurts, it's going to have this position on the cover. Because black has draw odds. Now, after bishop takes, he plays queen here, forking the rooks. Unfortunately, after pawn takes and rook f8, it doesn't matter because black has 7 passed pawns. That was a good trick, though, that the rooks are not defended. That's pretty good, pretty tricky. The clearance sacrifice. The problem is once you take this rook, this knight is hanging, and then black has 4 passed pawns. But he has to play f takes e5 or he's not winning. The reason you play f takes e5 is your rook can go to f8 attacking the knight after queen e4. Otherwise, after queen e4, you're just losing. Bishop takes queen e4, threatens both rooks. But after f takes queen e4, rook f8, then black will be down the exchange, but he'll have 8,000 passed pawns. So, okay. And he played it correctly. Yeah, black is still winning. So black missed that, but he's still winning. And he'll be moving on up to the queen's side. But that was still a good trick. Didn't work, but it was good. Well, he just lost a piece, so I don't know why White did that. I guess he just, I mean, these moves are so winning, he just, you know. Yeah, if he plays rook takes bishop, then c2 wins. So he took this, but okay. Well, he has to resign now. So Benjamin Bach wins his match against Kovalenko. We still have Maksudlu and Flores, and they're not playing yet. I don't know why. Nobody's telling me why. And Kovalenko resigns. I wonder if they updated the bracket. Where's the bracket? Let me see. Oh, no, that's the schedule. They did update the bracket. Wow, look at that. Man, look at that bracket. If you guys can see it, I think you can. So Buckrow is going to play Vokidov in the second match. Mamedyarov is playing Santos Latasa. Benjamin Bach is going to play Makarian. Salinas is playing Aradya. Komsky is going to play Kramnik. Komsky, Kramnik, round 2. Tersahakian is going to play Sevian. Minli is going to play the winner of Flores and Maksudlu. And Lupulescu, it says, is going to play Geary. Lupulescu versus Geary. And we've already started the next match. We've already started round. Even though we don't have a game yet for the Maksudlu match with Flores. They haven't played their Armageddon yet, and we're still playing the next round. Okay, they have started. Okay. So this is Flores Maksudlu. This is Armageddon. Looks like Maksudlu won the bid. He bid 11 minutes and 15 seconds, I guess. And he has black and draw odds against Flores. Nice. Ready. We've seen this before. In fact, these two guys did it before. Nobody trades nothing. Okay, so black is doing fine here, obviously. Black has a nice space advantage. And black has draw odds. So he should be pretty happy so far. If you're a Maksudlu fan, you should be happy so far. White wants to play f4 as soon as he can. Either knight d2 or knight e1, and then f4, and so forth. The question is, will black play f5 or f6? Or will he never do either one? He played f5. That answers that question. Maksudlu is playing unbelievably quickly. They're on move 16 and he's used less than 20 seconds. Trying to catch up on time. Again, black has draw odds. It's an Armageddon game. He'll play knight takes e5. Yeah, black has no problem so far. You can see White's pretty passive here. He's analyzing bishop f4 and making sure he's okay, and he did play bishop f4. That's the human move. He'll play bishop f6, and he might play knight g6, but bishop f6 is better. This rook's going to come to e8 pretty soon. Well, it's hard for White to get winning chances here. White's just slightly worse. And the time situation is getting close to equal. All right, we got Kramnik and Komsky. All right, so this is Komsky versus Kramnik. This is the match that interests me the most of the second round. Komsky has White. It's a London. Queen takes b2. Interesting. Still theory. Never play f3. And I assume this is the preparation of both players. They're both playing pretty quickly. It's definitely preparation for Komsky. E takes f4 is a mistake. Looks like Kramnik didn't know this, and Komsky knows knight c4. Komsky knows his London. The only question is who's older? Can someone in my chat go to the internets and find out who's older, Komsky or Kramnik? They're both around 46. They're both within a year of 46, unless I'm wrong. Then there's something else. Yeah, just so you guys know, if you take the knight, then knight c7 check and queen d6 mate is better for White. Okay, so instead of getting mated, he played queen takes, check, bishop takes. The engine says bishop e5 is better than bishop c5. Komsky still knows this position because he's only used 4 seconds. These bishops are both hanging. Looks good for Komsky. Komsky is 49. Kramnik is 47. Wait a minute. Bonarici said Komsky's 48. And Kramnik's 49. Wait, how do we have different ages for what? Abdur Rahman agrees with trying to learn. I'm wrong, of course. Komsky. Okay, so we have Kramnik as 47, and we have Kramnik as 48. If he's born June 25th, then he's 48. This is 2023. So Komsky's 49 and Kramnik's 48. 1974? What? Yeah, he's like exactly a year older. But the relative ages are right. Man, tough talking to people in the chat. Okay, so White has a queen for 2 pieces, and Black has negligible compensation. Well, so Kramnik got tricked in the opening by Komsky. Okay, and then I want to look at the game, the Armageddon game. Where's the Armageddon game? Let's see. I'll find it. I lost the Armageddon game. Terrible. Technical difficulties. I got it. I did it. I'm not as dumb as everybody said I was. Okay, now the engine likes white, all of a sudden. Let's go back and see what we missed. Bishop f4, bishop f6, the engine likes black. E takes f5, rook e8, good. Bishop b7, queen b7, every move is good. Queen h5. Oh, rook e7 question mark. Well, the engine likes a move I would never consider. Bishop d8. I guess that unleashes on the pawn on f5. Bishop d8. I'm not playing bishop d8. Okay, rook e7 doesn't like. Knight f2. Doesn't like g6. Okay, so white's up a pawn, but black has a really nice position. So the engine wants to take this knight because the knight's too good. We keep threatening knight f3 check, so these pieces are stuck here. So the engine says after bishop e5, white has a big advantage. Then white plays knight g2, and he's got these squares for his knights. Knight g4 question mark. It doesn't like that. And knight g4 looks okay to me. The engine's just too mean. Okay, now this is an Armageddon game. Maksudlu needs to draw, then he wins the match. Flores needs to win, then he wins the match. This is the only match from round 1 that's still going on. The other ones are in round 2, such as Komsky versus Kramnik. So he castled. Now Komsky took on f4. The engine prefers g5. Now, king f1 is better for white. King d2 is better for black, it says. Wow. They play king d2. Now the engine likes black. It plays rook e3, knight e4 check. Wow, the engine says black is better. He just didn't see rook e3 with the idea of knight e4 check. Man. Yeah, rook e3. Amazing. Komsky plays an opening trap, gets a position that's like plus 1.5. Then he makes like 2 bad moves in a row, and now he's worse. Man, the truth hurts. Chess is tough. PD Baltalk subscribed. Hooray. Okay, so knight f5 happened. Knight g2. It's funny, the engine wants to play knight e3. That's the square that white protected the most. Knight f7, that's more of a human move. Yay, go Komsky and Kramnik. It's the old guys. Not as old as me, but they're trying. Bishop d3, that's the right move. I guess there was a trade in the other game. Queen f3, rook f3, rook e8, rook f1. I mean, white's just a pawn up. And this is +1. White's up a pawn. And black has draw odds, so that's fair. Time situation is exactly the same. Good winning chances for Flores. Okay, knight e4 check. Engine doesn't like that. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. White's probably going to play king c2. Black's threatening rook d3 check and rook d8 check. Queen f1 is also possible. I don't think I would consider queen f1. I would just play king c2. What an amazing game from this London, the Komsky-Kramnik game. Once this game is over, I'll look at some other games in the round. But this is still the previous round. A5, H4, A4. Always play on the side. King C2 played by Komsky. Rook D8, X-clam. Yeah, black's pieces are pretty good. He has to play Queen F1 now. It's the only move. But he'll play it because there's nowhere else for the queen to go. Then Rook D3. God damn. Still theory. Yeah, Kramnik should play double rooks on the 6th. Okay, and they're playing on the queen side now. Takes, Rook A8. White's going to play Rook B1, threatening this. But yeah, this game is very intriguing. Kramnik falling into an opening trap, and then like 3 moves later being fine. How did Fabi do? What? Fabi's not in Division 3. I'm not even sure if he's playing in this event. We're doing Division 3 here, so we have weak players like Kramnik, Komsky, Mamedyarov, Geary. Wait, those guys are good. Min Lee. We got tough guys here. Benjamin Bach, etc. Rook B1 was played. Black has to decide which way to defend his pawn. Rook E6 or Rook B7. This looks more natural to me. The engine says it's the same. It says they're equally good. But I like Rook E6. This looks like a bad square for the rook. Kramnik's trying to decide whether to double rooks here or to play this rook here and double rooks here. They're both reasonable because double rooks here you have Rook D2 check, E3, E2. So this also makes sense. He'll put one of his rooks on D3. He doesn't know which one. This is Diego Flores versus Maksudlu. This is Armageddon from round 1. From the first match. He didn't defend his B pawn. He just took on A4. That surprises me. After Rook G6, he's just losing. Just down 2 pawns for nothing. Put it in H. H5. So far, so good for Flores. And Kramnik hasn't moved yet. Kramnik taking a long time on this move. Over 3 minutes behind on the clock. Maybe he doesn't know it's his move. He is pretty old. Not as old as Gata, but close. This is online. Yeah. How many of these players have you faced OTB? I don't know. Komsky. Not many. This is a different generation of players. But I've played Komsky. Okay, so Flores is winning his game against Maksudlu. Maksudlu needs to draw to win the match. And this game could go, all 3 results will happen. They're not even possible. They'll actually happen. All 3 results. Amazing. Which rook will Kramnik put on D3? Will Kramnik ever move? Kramnik's been thinking like 3.5 minutes on this move. This will be the greatest move ever. The engine just wants to double rooks on the 6th and attack this pawn, which can be Knight A5. Double question mark. Queen B5 winning. Man, it really hates this move. He wants to play rook here and rook takes and knight C4 check. But white's quicker. Queen here, rook D1. Terrible blunder from Kramnik. Too slow. Strange move. Weird move. All right, we have lots of moves in this game. Doubled rooks, rook f2. If they repeat, then black wins because black has draw odds. So white's going to play knight g4 probably. Could play knight e4. And white's up 2 pawns. Probably knight g4 because it stops knight e3. Yeah. Yeah, and Flores should win this position. Black doesn't really have anything to attack with. His pieces are all here. Terrible. Queen b5 played by Komsky. Now Komsky is winning again. Very strange. Knight a5. I don't get it. I don't know what he was thinking. Yeah, now we just put a rook here or here, and we're up a queen. Man, tough being old. Yeah, knight a5, a very strange move. Yeah, that was weird losing a tempo like that. Very weird move, knight a5. All right, he played knight e3 anyway. White's going to be up 3 pawns. He can take with the bishop, then take with the knight, or take with the knight, then take with the bishop, and the engine says they're both winning. White's up 3 pawns in both cases. Black playing for tricks, but tricks are for kids. Probably play rook d6, defending his pawn. Yep. Yeah, I mean, white should have good technique and win this game. Only has 3 minutes left, so maybe technique not so good. Okay, now Kramnik's thinking again. Kramnik has a 5-minute time disadvantage, and he's down a queen. So it looks good for Gata. Queen a4 is a nice move. It attacks the pawn on e4, which is hard to defend. Rook he1 does the same thing. That seems more natural, rook he1. Probably play that. Yep, looks bad for black. Also looks bad for black. This is the Armageddon game from the first round today. Bishop h6. Oh, gotta play queen a4. That's the engine move. Take the pawn on e4. Not easy to defend. And by not easy, I mean impossible. This is already resignable. There's just nothing for black to do. Well, knight a5 was an incredible blunder. Yeah, terrible. All right, this is the end of the first round, is this game. He played bishop h6, threatening the knight. Knight f5. Something in my eye. Bishop f8, always play bishop f8. Man, the truth hurts. Yep, and that should do it. Black's going to resign soon because he's down 3 pawns and his bishop's trapped. And White's position's fine. It looks like Flores is going to win the match against Maksudlu. The truth hurts. Wow, Flores won on demand. He had to win. And he did. All right, time to resign. This is a good time to resign. Oh, blundered. He didn't resign. Wow, that was nice. That's a nice checkmate. Nice checkmate. All right, so Flores wins against Maksudlu. Round 1's over. All right, now we can look at another round 2 game. How about Geary? Geary's pretty good. Here's Geary Lupulescu. Lupulescu, I don't think his opponent showed up in the first round. Or maybe I'm wrong. I think so. Geary has the white pieces. It's a reverse Benoni. Pretty boring. White's slightly better. Geary's pretty happy. He likes boring and slightly better. Very Geary-esque game. Engine doesn't like b5 very much. Says it's okay. Well, Geary has a big time advantage. 4 minutes ahead on the clock. But position's about equal. Black has d5. White has e5 and d6. d4's weak. So it's about equal, the position. Kramnik hasn't resigned yet. Let's see what happened. Played rook c8. Wow, b5 instead of resigning. Pretty insulting. So Gata has a queen and 2 pawns for a bishop and a knight. I guess it's a rapid game. He has a minute left, so he can't. Hard to resign. Strange game. Kramnik falls into an opening trap. Then Gata gives all his advantage away. Then Kramnik plays knight a5 double question mark losing. Then Gata played great. Well, that's the engine move, queen a5. All right, so Gata's going to win his game against Kramnik. Let's see how Geary's doing. b4 was played, knight a4, rook d5. He's going to double up on the bubble up, putting pressure on d4. I actually like black here. I'd rather have black. Geary wants to play knight b2 to c4 to d6. And black wants to put pressure on this d-pawn. Although I do like Geary's time advantage. So that's always nice. Rook b8. Defending after, even though he's down material. Probably rook b1 will be played. And it was. It's weird not to resign here. He's just down everything. Doesn't know where the resign button is. He's never resigned online before. Yeah, maybe. Okay, back to the Geary game. In fact, I'm not interested in this game anymore. So let me, let's see. Ooh, hide video. That was good. Who wants to see my video of me? Not me. All right, this game's over. So let's see who else is of note. Big money, no whammy, stop. $9.99 from Imibo. Thank you for providing. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for supporting the stream. Okay, this game looks super weird. This is the game Benjamin Bach Black against Makarian. Makarian's the one who beat Andreykin. This looks good for Benjamin Bach. Benjamin Bach won in extra time. Now, this is the old Queen's Indian. This is how I used to play it. Nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. And then all heck broke loose. C5, and then all kinds of things got captured and traded and all craziness happened. So this position's about equal. It says that's bad. Knight A4 is bad. G5 and the bishop is trapped. Man, the truth hurts. Yeah, sometimes when your pawns are here, your bishop's trapped. Knight takes F7. So I guess if you play bishop takes, and I take with the rook, and you take this, then your knight's hanging. So you're going to lose one of your pieces here. Yeah, so black just won a piece. And black's just a piece up. So yeah, nice game from Benjamin Bach. Looks like he's going to win against Makarian. Let's see what else we can do. That game's pretty interesting. This is Min Lee versus Diego Flores. Diego won against Maksudlu in the Armageddon game. E4, confusing the audience. He played Queen B3. Queen B3 is the engine move. Wow. Is this theory? Oh, it has to be theory because he has all this time. Oh, this must be theory. I just don't know it. Well, black doesn't know it either. Black's thinking forever. So the engine doesn't take the bishop, but I'm going to take the bishop. Let's see what happens. Take the bishop. Knight takes G5. I don't know. Rook F8. I don't know. Knight takes F7. Bishop takes G6. Man, the truth hurts. The knight G5's coming. Man, harsh. Yeah, that looks good for white. I will acknowledge white's doing well here. Gonna have 3 pawns and a rook for 2 pieces. All right, well. But yeah, he's playing so quickly, Min Lee, he must know this. He only used seconds on his clock. Excuse me. Let's go back to the Geary game. Lupulescu's putting tremendous pressure on D4. And white is defending D4. And white really wants to play knight B2, C4 to D6, and knight E5, but its pawn is so weak, it's hard to get that accomplished. This pawn's also weak, because he played queen B8 defending his pawn. Now white's going to play knight b2, knight c4. Knight's terrible on a4. Well, Geary has a huge time advantage, over 4 minutes. And king f8 was played, which the engine does not like. Yeah, it just wants to play rook e1, because after takes, we're threatening mate, and it's hard to stop the mate. Well, I've never seen this before, but Min Lee must know it. He doesn't know king f8, because the engine hates king f8. Interesting sacrifice from white, which black really can't take. Okay, let's see what else we got on in store here. Let's see, winners. Wow, they've already drawn both games. Pichot and Sargsyan already drew both of their games in the losers bracket. And in the losers bracket, Theodoro beat Ivic 2-0. Wow. This is the game Benjamin Bach was winning. And he's still winning. 2 bishops, what else? And a mating attack. The engine actually announces mate here with queen f3. It says this is mate in 7. Bishop e5 check. Normally you'd resign here with white, but there's no time to resign. He only has a minute on the clock. This is mate in 6, and this is mate in 7. A queen and 2 bishops, what else? So Benjamin Bach's going to win his game against Makarian. He'll have 1 out of 1 in the round 2 of the knockout in the winner's bracket. All right, well, this game's not interesting anymore. Let's see, what else haven't we looked at? That's the loser's bracket. Losers bracket. Andreikin beat Kovalenko in game 1 of the losers. Georg Meyer beat Danishvar in round 1 of the losers. Komsky did win against Kramnik. I stopped looking at the game because it wasn't interesting. It's still not interesting. And Kramnik resigned with 10 seconds left. Boy, what a final position. God damn. Truth hurts. So Komsky wins against Kramnik in the first game. They'll start the second game shortly. That's the match I was most interested in. And Benjamin Bach did win his game against Makarian. Let's see, what else is happening in the winner's bracket? Oh, Kramnik and Komsky already moved 15 or so. Okay, this is Kramnik-Komsky. Kramnik has to win to force Armageddon. Komsky playing one of his Komsky Sicilians. You can't play e5 here because queen a5 check wins the pawn. Now you can play e5, except it's not your turn. Bishop b4, queen d3, d5, wow. Looks okay for black. It's a lot of trading. Komsky must be happy trading a lot. All he needs is a draw and he wins the match. All right, so white's slightly better because black has 2 isolated pawns. But doesn't seem like enough to win. Seems like if Kramnik's going to win, it's going to be a 100-move game. Thanks, Borrow and Salad for 72 for subscribing. Thanks for supporting the stream, guys. You guys are the best. I'll be doing this every day, today through Sunday. I'll be doing analysis of the Division 3. Hopefully your favorite players will still be in tomorrow. And white's slightly better. I won't argue that. I'm not sure why I can't take here. The engine doesn't take there. It plays rook d8. One of the rooks to d8. It does look weird to take here. I guess bishop d4 threatens mate. Then bishop c4 might trap the queen. So it's probably too risky to take there. All right, and this game was interesting. He did play rook a e1. That is the engine move. Min Lee. Rook e6, bishop h4. Yeah, this is already winning for white. Yeah, knight e5. Black's position is just way too passive. This king's no good. This knight is pinned. These pieces are all bad. a4, a5 could come. Yeah, knight e5 threatens d6 because you have a mate on f7. Yeah, really, really good position for Min Lee. Okay, rook a d8 was played by Komsky. Let's look at some other games. So many games going on. I'm trying just to look at the winners' games because that seems more interesting than the losers' bracket. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Komsky, not Komsky. The Geary game got interesting. They traded everything. Okay, so after queen b8, he did play knight b2. Geary wants to get his knight in there. Knight d7. Queen c2. g6 question mark. Now he played rook d2 question mark. e5. That's the point of g6 was he defended his knight. So he could play e5. Okay, now black has no trouble at all. Queen c1. And the engine says black is a tiny bit better, but this looks like a draw. Doesn't look like enough to win. Although the time is pretty low for both players, so all three results are possible. But Lupulescu has equalized against Geary, and then some. Yeah, Geary let him play e5. Probably shouldn't have done that. That's why rook d2 was a mistake. Min Lee did play knight e5. Min Lee's playing great this game. Against Diego Flores. Good position for Min Lee. Let's get to some of the other games we haven't looked at. So this is in the losers bracket, but this is a Armageddon game. They drew their first two games, Pichot and Sargsyan. And this position looks about equal, but black has draw odds. So that's looking good for Sargsyan. And again, in the losers bracket, those players can win the tournament also. They just win the rest of their matches, they win the tournament. So anybody, all 32 players can still win the event. Although it's probably not a good idea to lose your first match. But you can still win the event. Okay, so that's looking good for black because black has draw odds. Let's see, what else is of note? Benjamin Bach, he won his first game. Okay, this is game 2. Bach won the first game. So Bach needs a draw, and he wins the match. If Makarian wins the game, they play Armageddon. This is very nice to have white here. Very hard for black to win. QGD exchange variation. This is all theory. And white is just like, dude, you're not beating me from this position. I'm just sitting here all chill. Yeah, it's hard for black to win because white could just do nothing. You know, play like, king here, king here. Well, not king f2, but if white just moves his king back and forth, what's black going to do? I mean, white's better here. White should try to win, but Black has to win because White won the first game, or because Bach won the first game with Black. So looking good for Bach. If you're rooting for Benjamin Bach, he's looking good. Looking like he's going around 3. Let's see, and that's the losers bracket. That's on Draken's game. Georg Meyer in the losers bracket. He has a big advantage, and he won his first game. So Georg Meyer is going to continue. Let's look at the Komsky game again, because I'm interested in the Kramnik-Komsky match a lot. Okay, so Rook A D8 was played. This is when we last looked at the position. Rook takes D8. Rook takes D8. A3. Bishop D6 attacking the queen. Queen H4 attacking the rook on D8. And it's Komsky's move. And the engine says it's about equal. Problem is if White ever takes this quote-unquote free pawn, Bishop H2 check and Queen takes rook. So that pawn's not really attacked. Well, Kramnik has more time. Look, he defended his pawn anyway. The dogs are furious. They hate that inactive rook. Yeah, Min Lee's pretty good. Did you see Danny Wrench's latest tweet about your stream? It's funny. No, I'm busy. I'm working here. I can't be looking at Twitter and like, hey, what's going on? But I can look now because you told me. Let's see. That's wrong. That's the wrong tournament. Let's see what X has to say. It says X go and give it to you. What? The answer 37. LOL for what it's worth, Ben. I don't get it. Oh. Oh, how many Fabergé eggs does Danny Wrench own, by the way? 37. That is a lot. That was much less funny than I anticipated. All right, go Min Lee. God damn, look at Min Lee. Look at him go. Wow. Min Lee's putting the smackdown on Diego Flores. Knight e5 exclam, d6 threatening mate with advantage. Bishop e6, you will know my name is the Lord when I play knight takes g6 check. Yeah, if you play king g8 or king e8, it's the easiest exchange sacrifice ever. So he just took. Man, White's up material. Damn. Wow, he resigned. Diego Flores resigned here. Wow, what a crush. I mean, Min Lee just knew the opening better and got a big time advantage and a big advantage on the board. He just totally wiped him out. Wow, great game by Min Lee. Wow, that was nice. So Min Lee won his first game against Diego Flores. Komsky won the first game. He needs to draw this game and he wins the match. He's slightly worse, has slightly less time, but he's Komsky, so. Is Kramnik still Kramnik? The answer is fries. X go and give it to you. What? All right, let's look at some other games. There are other games. That game's equal and doesn't matter. Wow, what happened? What's happening? What world am I in? Wow, there must have been like a double question mark move in the Geary game. Rook e2, knight f4. Wow, what a blunder. So rook e4 is slightly better for black, and rook takes rook is equal. And he played queen e4 double question mark. Wow. I mean, it's hard for me to believe this. I don't know what else to say. He must have thought after knight takes, queen h1 was mate and forgot about knight g1. I don't know what else to say. I don't know. Because it just loses. Wow, what a blunder from Lupulescu. Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking. Well, he's just losing here. And Geary decides to win the king and pawn ending. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a winning king and pawn ending. Yeah. Yeah, b5 will do it. What's funny is a5 does not win, but a takes b5 does win. Wow. After a5, I take this, you play a6, and I play f4. And the engine says that's a draw. That's hard to believe. Wow. Because actually you queen and I go to the 7th rank, but you can't win. But this does win, what he did. Now they both win, b6 and taking on c6. But, I mean, he'd probably take on c6 because you have a passed c pawn then. Here you don't. Oh, this is funny. If black queens here, queen d4 check. So you can just move the queen anywhere that defends d4. So like queen here, queen here, queen here. Yeah, and then you can't queen because queen d4 check. So now he'll resign. Or he won't resign. What kind of move is that? Queen here and I queen. What's king here? What's wrong with you? Resigning was better. What a blunder. King f3 instead of resigning? Okay, he resigned here. Well, he only had seconds left, so I'll give him a break. Couldn't find the resign button. Okay, so Geary wins a lot of games. Geary's played 3 games in this event, and he's 3-0. So maybe, and he's in Division 3, so that's a lot of 3s. All right, so Geary wins the first game. Komsky wins the first game. I want to go back to Komsky-Kramnik again. If you don't like the Komsky-Kramnik match, I apologize. That's my match. I can't find the Komsky match with Kramnik. Okay, here we go. Okay, what happened? C5. Okay, G3 we didn't see yet. C4. The engine doesn't like G3. It says black's equal now. White has no advantage. Yeah, just bishop here, bishop here. Yeah, this pawn isn't bad anymore. Now black has winning chances if he gets this b pawn. So Kramnik's only hope is Komsky gets down to less than a minute and then blunders. Because normally Komsky won't lose a position like this. This position is too reasonable. Okay, Bluebaum won his first game against Maksudlu in the losers. Min Lee won, and he's playing the second game now. Geary Lupulescu, they're playing game 2. Geary won the first game. They're playing an Armageddon in this game here. Black has draw odds, and now White's winning. We looked at this earlier, and it was equal. Now White has a winning attack. Knight takes e5, etc. So if you're a Pichot fan, and there was a guy here before the stream, he's like, show the Pichot game. Pichot won the first game of the first match. Then he lost the next 2, losing the match. And then in this match, they drew quickly first 2 games, and now Pichot's about to win. So Pichot's going to make it to the next round in the loser's bracket. Yeah, queen takes a4, and White's winning on both sides of the board. White has a passed a pawn. The e5 pawn is weak. The bishop is impotent. Yeah. Queen, you can resign after queen takes a4. Black has no chance. Black has no counterplay. Black can't stop the a pawn. Black can't defend the e pawn. Black can't save his king. Resignable. Frankly, terrible. Yeah, queen b5 and make a queen. Yeah, there's no play for black. If we exchange queens, we win immediately. Black has no play. No. Okay, so Pichot's going to win his game. I have spoken. And he's going to win his match as a consequence. And Sargsyan will be out of the tournament. Theodoru beat Ivic 2-0 in the losers. So Ivic is out of the tournament. This is the game I said White couldn't lose. Benjamin Bach needs to draw, and then he wins the match. He won the first game against Makarian. And the engine says White's much better or winning. White's up a pawn. White's going to play b4, rook b3, a4, knight c5. And this pawn's really weak. So if Black ever does a rook thing, I don't know what rook thing to do. I don't know. Then I have knight f4, knight takes pawn with a passed h pawn. Although, to be perfectly honest, I don't know what Black's going to do with his rook. But his rook a8, I play knight f4 and take this. So, yeah, so White's winning on the board, and White needs to draw to win the match. Black's only hope is the clock. That's not much of a hope. A4 is just completely winning. And Black is losing on the board, too. So if you're a Benjamin Bach fan, you're looking good. He's going to be on to round 3. Geary has a funny position against Lupulescu. Geary won the first game. This is the second game. Geary needs to draw and he wins the match. They played a Slav. This is all theory. Knight b4, queen b1. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, White's slightly better. White has the 2 bishops. But Geary's really solid. He likes being solid. Okay, so Geary's, if you're a Geary fan, still good. Geary's won every game this tournament, so can't complain too much. Played a little bit. Let's look at this game. This is Min Lee is Black against Flores. Min Lee won the first game, so he needs a draw with Black, and he wins the match. Similar opening to the Geary game. It's Karen. Except that Diego Flores castle kingside. Bishop a5 question mark.
Well, I missed a lot of this.
Yeah. So round 2, Komsky Kramnik. So I was like, I gotta watch that. Komsky tricked him into London and won his queen. And then it was an opening trap. Like he moved instantly every move.
Yeah.
So there's a queen for 2 pieces. Then 3 moves later, Kramnik was equal.
Wow.
Then 5 moves later, Kramnik was dead lost. He thought for 4 minutes and made the worst move ever. So Komsky won the first game. They're playing game 2 now.
Hey, Man Moth. Hey, can you fix that there?
Boo. I mean, yay. All right, and then let's look at the Komsky game because that's all I care about. Geary won every game in this tournament so far.
Really? That's
Geary's
good.
3-0. I can't find the Komsky game, so we can't look at it. No.
It's got to be there somewhere.
Georg Meyer won both games in the losers bracket. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the Komsky game. Okay, Komsky's Black and he needs a draw, and the engine says, boo, Kramnik's winning. Always play bishop f8. Oh, so in this position, Komsky played a4, which the engine hates. The engine wants to play bishop e7 attacking the queen, and then bishop f6 thwarting the bishop. But instead, he let this battery come to life. Never play f6. Always play bishop f8. Queen g6 also bad, it says. Well, the rook doesn't have a lot of squares. Man, look at Kramnik's nice bishops of these weak pawns. Kramnik totally outplaying Komsky. Bam. And not only does Kramnik have a winning position here, also he has a lot more time on the clock. So White's up a pawn. White's bishops are better. White has the e file. f7 is weak. And White's up a pawn on the queen side. But yeah, the 3-minute time advantage is also pretty good. All right, now trivia, because I looked into this. I asked the chat.
Yeah?
And the chat was giving different answers, which made no sense, by the way. Who's older, Kramnik or Komsky? And then people went to the internet, looked it up, and still put different answers. How do you put different answers when you look it up?
I don't know. I'd say Kramnik.
Kramnik's 48, Komsky's 49.
Oh.
Yeah, very close. They're a year apart. They're both born in June. They're 1 year apart.
Mm-hmm. That's probably not a recent picture of Komsky.
Hey, bishop h3, that's the sheer, that's the engine move. 4 bishops, what else? Okay, let's see how Min Lee's doing. Min Lee's equalized, and he needs a draw to win the match. Man, Min Lee played almost 100 last game. He was sacking and playing perfect. It was great.
Nice.
Beat Flores easily.
I have to go back and look at some of the games.
Okay, let's look at some other games. So many games. There'll be less games as the days go on. So this is amazing. I was explaining how Pichot is winning, and Sargsyan has no hope, and the match is over, etc., etc., etc. And then White's king got super exposed, and now it's a draw. And this is an Armageddon game, so if Sargsyan draws, he wins the match, and Pichot's out of the tournament. That's crazy, like Fox News. Yeah, somehow this king got super exposed. Yeah, Pichot was completely winning, safe king, queening, and everything winning. Then he messed it up. And Pichot won his first game in the first round, then lost his next 2 to lose the match. Then they drew quickly the first 2 games, like they didn't play. Play Armageddon. Mm-hmm. And then the Armageddon, he's completely winning, and now it's a draw. Oh, and it says he lost. It says he resigned. Which, if it's a draw, it's the same as losing. But I don't know if he resigned. That's weird. I guess he resigned. Like, it's a drawn position, but a draw and resignation are the same. Right. So he just resigned. I guess that's weird.
Maybe.
Yeah. So Pichot's out of the tournament. Damn, man, he was in the tournament for a while.
It's not a fake bookshelf, Bill Gates. In fact, I hate the bookshelf. I am going to move it, one of these days. You just got to put up with it till I get a chance to move it.
Benjamin Bach won the first game.
You like it?
And he's totally messed this up, and he's still drawing. But, Black could win. White has 7 seconds left. Black could double rooks on the 8th rank and give mate. I don't know how, but, he could. No, but the fact that Black has 10 minutes and Bach has 7 seconds. You can't have time management like that. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's pretty big deal.
Hopefully Puzzle Pawn's not here, because I'm thinking of yelling at him, because that's what he does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does it every game. If you do it like once in your life, all right. You cannot have 7 seconds against 10 minutes. If you told me you hung your queen, that would be more understandable to me if you were my student. I'd be like, yeah, you hung your queen, you didn't see Pontek's queen.
Manmoth is correct. Fear of losing syndrome.
No, you can't have 7. Look at this. 7. You can't do that. What's funny is he's like winning. He's like still better. But 7, you can't have 7 seconds.
Who was or is Julius Baer?
I can't bear to tell you.
Yeah.
I can't bear the proud man's contumely. I don't know. You'd have to go to the internet and look it up. And look up their ages while you're at it.
Go Scold Benjamin Bach. Hey, Bun Richie.
All right, let's look at this game. This game's too boring to look at. All right, now we got a game. Lupulescu versus Geary, and White has to win. The engine says it's equal. Even though this isn't the kind of equal that's a draw, this is the kind of equal where somebody wins. 2 bishops versus the what else? They both have tons of time. Every move they make, the engine says is bad. Every move, because Black's playing quickly, hoping White loses on time, and White's moving instantly because there's no time on his clock. So, like different colors when it's a bad move, like red. See? Very colorful game.
It is very
See, it's in white if the move is correct. If the move is a genius move, it's in blue. And if it's orange or red, that move's not good. Every move is orange and red. Like, it's very colorful.
Trying to Learn says he's disappointed there don't seem to be any women in Division 2 or Division 3 brackets.
What about Division 1?
Seems like should have qualified given the ratings of the players in Division 2, 3.
You know, also, I don't think they said, okay, you're in Division 3. I think people played in a tournament before this. I think there was a big Swiss, and like the top whatever went to Division 1. So you see what I'm saying? And then the next went to Division 2 and then Division 3. So I don't think it was like they didn't let women play. I think women played in the open and didn't qualify. That's what I think happened.
What's the time control?
15 minute with the 3-second increment.
Thought so.
Is Bishop G6 possible in the Geary game? It's legal. It does lose a bishop. So let's see. Which move were you talking about?
The Komsky game is heating up.
I mean, I wouldn't play it. It just loses a bishop. White doesn't have any attack after that. If it was Bughouse, then yeah. Then White could put more pieces in there. The Komsky game is heating up. Let's see. I can do that. I can look at the Komsky game. That's the only game I care about anyway, so I should look at it. Go Komsky game heating up. All right, let's go back to where we were. Bishop h3. This is where we were. Queen f3, threatening and defending. Or just threatening, I guess. I mean, defending. g4, trapping the bishop. Exclam. Queen f6. Now if you take the bishop, I take on f2. Which you can do. The engine actually takes the bishop. Queen f2, king h1. But Kramnik says, I'm going to go into the winning endgame. See, because he's a pawn up and the bishop's trapped. Mm-hmm. However, he did play f3. So G takes h5 question mark. It says he should play king f2, takes king g3. And then he's threatening to take and take the bishop. It says that's plus 2.5. It doesn't like GH. Now the bishop can get out. F5 exclam, getting away from F6. Wow, look at Kramnik with his 13 seconds left. Thinks he's so cool. All right, so this is like 50% win, 50% draw. If the game's a draw, Komsky wins the match. If Kramnik wins, they go to Armageddon. I don't mean they play an Armageddon game. They go to the movies and watch Armageddon. They have to go together. When Komsky and Kramnik speak to each other, do you think they speak English or Russian?
Russian.
Russian, but if there's people there who speak English who don't speak Russian, like standing next to them, then they'll speak English.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. We're Russian if nobody's around.
Common courtesy.
Yeah, if nobody's around. Hubner told me he was playing in the Bundesliga in Germany against a German player. Okay, and he's German. And they played, and the game ended, and they analyzed. And they were analyzing in English. And at one point, Hubner's like, wait, why are we speaking English? Says, we're German, and we're in Germany. But when they play other people, they speak English. Yeah. So they're like, wait, we're German, and we're in Germany. Why are we speaking English? What's wrong with us?
It's funny.
No time left for Kramnik. Okay, Kramnik just totally messed this up. Let's go back. Kramnik like lost his B pawn. I don't know how. How did he lose his B pawn? How's that possible? Oh, that's how. Look what he did.
Oh, yeah.
Bishop E2. God damn, that was a dumb move. Wow, what a terrible move. Bishop E2.
Yeah, that's pretty
wow. What a terrible move. Well, now he can't win. Impossible to win. So Komsky wins the match.
Trying to Learn says, yeah, it looks like no women participated in the play-in event, even though it was open to all GMs. Sad.
I mean, it's tough when you have to win and you can't legally win.
Right.
That makes it tough. Like, White doesn't have a winning plan. He just choke on his rage.
Yeah.
Well, Komsky beat Kramnik in a match. That's pretty good. Kramnik crushed his first opponent. God damn. That was like genius, the way he beat him. Okay, even though it sounds like I'm kidding, I'm not. 50 move rule is going to come into effect at some point. And the engine automatically says 50 move rule. Yeah, the bishop's trapped, so that's the end of that. No more 50 move rule, just dead draw. Never play f6. Now the game's a draw for sure because White played f3 and Black played f6. You can't legally win. There's no winning plan. All right, let's look at some other game while this is going on. Okay, this position's still equal, but it's complicated. It looks good for Min Lee because Min Lee has 3 minutes extra on the clock against Diego Flores. And how's Anish Geary doing? Anish Geary's worse. 2 bishops, what else? And a pin. King b1, always play king b1, exclaim. Yeah, good move. Now your bishop g6 may come in later, Bonarici. Maybe. It's possible. Okay, good play by Lupulescu, keeping winning chances against Geary. All right, back to this dead drawn position. King h6. Yeah, he didn't take the rook. Taking the rook's pretty drawn. Black plays for the win. Black seizes the initiative. And now Black's better. Check.
Oh, Kostyanyuk did play, but she missed out by 1 point.
He's probably offering a draw now. And Komsky's declining. Komsky wins the match. He'll check forever because that wins the match. 115 moves. And Komsky wins the match against Kramnik. And Kramnik was winning that game too. Kramnik's going to be pretty upset. Komsky's on to round 3. Go Gotta. Gotta catch them all. All right, let's see. Winners. We have that game up. We have that game up. That match is over. That match is over. Benjamin Bach did draw his game, so he won his match against Makarian. I never heard of Makarian. He's an IM, and he beat Andrakin in the first round. Andrakin's pretty good. Gladura won his match in the loser's bracket against Hakobian, so Hakobian's out. And Kovalenko's out. He lost to Andrakin. Meyer won his match. Komsky won his match. Sevian won his match against Tersahakian. 1.5-half.
Makarian almost won Title Tuesday yesterday.
Oh, man, pretty good.
Defeating Nihal in a clutch game.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him from that. Okay, these guys are actually winners. This is a Armageddon game. They both won the game, and this is the Armageddon game. This is the winner's bracket. Pretty low-rated players for the winner's bracket. Salinas, Herrera, and Haradia. Looks like White's up a queen. For a piece? Wait, what's happening here?
I did not see the Magnus interview.
Why isn't Black resigning? Well, White's up a queen for a piece. What kind of not resigning is this? Man, that's good technique. God damn. Okay, so Salinas Herrera wins the match. The match is over. He goes on to round 3. In brutal style, I might add. Brutal.
How is Mamedyarov doing?
Oh, good question. Mamedyarov in the tournament? Mamedyarov won his match in Armageddon. He won his first game against Santos Latasa. Then Santos Latasa won against Mamedyarov. Then they drew the Armageddon game where Mamedyarov had draw odds. Mamedyarov wins his match in Armageddon. Buckrow wins his match against Vokidov pretty handily. Flores beats Maksudlu. We already knew that. We already had that. And Meyer, we knew won. Mamedyarov beat Bortnick. We already knew that. Oh, this is already from the first round. This is round. Yeah. So there's not many games going on. It's almost over the round. I think it's just the 2 games. There's 3 games left. Yeah, the 3 games I have up.
At the top, yeah.
Yeah, these are the last 3 games. This is Diego Flores versus Min Lee. Min Lee's completely winning. And also Min Lee won the first game. This king is no good. Karen was telling me ace king no good. And then I told her that king's no good. Name 2 reasons why ace king is called Anna Kournikova. There's 2 reasons.
Looks good, never wins.
Very good. Looks good, but never wins.
And
her initials are AK.
Well, right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a reason. I thought that was obvious.
Yeah. No, but looks good, never wins. It's funny because Kournikova, I think, either won 0 or 1 tournament in her life. Very suspicious. Speaking of suspicious, let's look at this guy's king. God damn, that's suspicious. Man, doubled on the 8th rank, threatening the bishop. The bishop's trapped. Okay, and White has to win this game to get it to Armageddon because he lost the first game. And he has less than a minute, and Min Lee has 4 minutes. So Min Lee's going to go on to round 3 in the winner's bracket. Lupulescu needs to win this game or he loses the match. It says he's slightly better and times are the same. He just made a mistake. So now the position Black is slightly better.
She won a lot in doubles. Sorry.
What's that?
They're just defending.
That's correct. She did win in doubles because she had good doubles partners. I saw Anna Kournikova play in St. Louis. And I played with, who's the tall one I played with? Lindsay Davenport. I played in front of the chess club with Lindsay Davenport in doubles. Me and her versus Ray Robson and Irina Krush. Truth hurts. Yeah, Lindsay Davenport's like 6'2.5". She was there with Kournikova doing something in tennis. Mm-hmm. And they played a doubles match together, which they won, but very suspicious. Yeah, Kournikova wasn't playing well. Lindsay Davenport was still good.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
She was 1 in the world at one point. Okay, so this is looking good for Geary. Geary's won every game he's played. He needs to draw this game to win the match. If he loses, they still play Armageddon. But he doesn't look like he's anywhere close to losing. And Benjamin Bach did draw his game. So he's winning, but okay, he won his match. Benjamin Bach wins his match. Okay, and then in the losers bracket, Bluebaum won the first game against Maksudlu. So Maksudlu has to win this game, but he's not winning. He's never winning. Because White can't win. White has no king. King h3, rook h1 mate. So, okay, well, g3, ridiculous. Yeah, this is actually like the Komsky game with Kramnik. Very similar. King G5 draws, HG3 draws, Rook here check draws, everything draws. The dog agrees. So if Bluebaum wins this game, or draws this game, I should say, Maksudlu's out of the tournament. He's out. There's going to be 8 people who are out of the tournament today. Those are the people who lost the first round and lost the second round. You have to lose both. Okay, and if Maksudlu draws this game, which seems likely, he's out of the tournament. Pretty strong for out of Division 3 immediately. That's pretty tough. 32 players in the tournament, 8 of them go home today. And they're already home because, they're playing from their house. So, yeah, there's no winning chances here. So Maksudlu is going to be out. All right, and here Black is completely winning, and the game ended. White resigned, and Min Lee won 2-0 his match. Min Lee's in the winner's bracket on to round 3. And in this game, it says Queen G2. Look at this. Castles exclam. G4, got to win. FG4 question mark. And now he should have played Bishop takes G6, but he played Queen G2 question mark. Losing a tempo. Now Knight F6, and Black plays B4, and Black's attack is just as good as White's. And, material's equal. Knight E5 is also a good move. That's more of a human move. I think Geary's going to play Knight E5. Because both moves are good. This seems more human. To attack the bishop and protect the pawn.
I agree. So I'd play that.
Okay, and this is Maksudlu Bluebaum. This is the loser's bracket. Maksudlu has to win the game, which he's not going to do. If he wins the game, he's still in the event, but he's not going to win. See, I told you he wouldn't win. Draw agreed. I mean, by repetition. Okay, so Bluebaum goes on to the next loser's bracket. I'm going to tell you the 8 people who are out. There's 8 people who aren't coming back tomorrow. Okay, and one of them is Maksudlu. I have to go to the losers. One of them is Pichot. Alain Pichot is out. Ivic is out. Ivic lost to Kramnik in the first round and lost to Theodoru in the second round. Hakobian is out. Hakobian with an H. Put it in H. Kovalenko's out. He lost his match to Andreikin. Deneshvar's out. He lost to Meyer. And is that it? Everybody else is a winner? Yep. Those are the 8 people who aren't coming back tomorrow. Now, if I'm correct, there's 1 game left in the entire event. If I'm correct. Looks like I'm correct. Yeah, it's the Geary game. I think that's the only game left. Yeah. This is the only game left in the tournament. And if Geary loses, which he's not losing, if he does lose, they'll play an Armageddon. If Geary wins or draws, he wins the match. He's 3-0 so far in the tournament. He played Knight F6. He's not human.
Yeah.
He didn't play Knight E5. Yeah. The engine likes Knight F6. Yeah, it says Black's better here. It likes Black's attack more than White's. Black can defend with Rook F7. The Knight's already defending here. But yeah, Black, Black's got Queen and Rook over here. It says Rook C7 is better than Rook F7. Rook F7 looks more human to me. But okay, Rook C7 is better.
Well, then he could swing his rook over to B7. Maybe later.
Right, he could play Rook here and swing his Rook. But I guess if he swings his Rook over, this is, hey, he played Rook C7. That also threatens Queen takes E3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this says Black is just winning. Black's attack is too strong. Because the Knight is defending, but the Bishop isn't defending at all. This Bishop doesn't help the White King. Here comes A3. Rook F7 defends again. White can't get anything going here. But A3 is a threatening mate immediately. And the White King is toast. Warm, buttery toast. Vegan butter. Oh, that's Division 1? Man, Carlson's pretty good. Wow, So's pretty good. Wow, Firouzja's pretty good. Wow. Firouzja beat Abdus Sattarov 3-0? Dang. Truth hurts. Okay, let me give you the bracket because I like the bracket.
Chess Dojo, thank you for the raid.
Yay, thanks, Chess Dojo. Okay, here's the bracket. Okay, we had Buckrow win his match. He's in the quarterfinals. Mamedyarov won his match. So tomorrow, Buckrow, Mamedyarov in the quarterfinals are the winners. Benjamin Bach won and Salinas Herrera won. So they're playing in the quarterfinals. Komsky won and Sevian won. Wait a minute. Sevian Tersahakian. Right. Sevian won and Komsky won. So 2 Americans playing there. And Min Lee won and Geary's going to win. So Min Lee's going to play Geary tomorrow. So there's going to be 8 people left in the winner's bracket. And there's going to be 16 people in the loser's bracket. The loser's bracket's bigger because more people lost. Hard to understand. If you lost in round 1 and won in round 2, or you won in round 1 and lost in round 2, you're still in. You're still good. Okay, so everybody's blundering here, it says. Rook G2, A3, black's winning. H5, A takes B2, black's winning. Rook B2. Now look at this mate he missed. He's going to be really embarrassed. This is embarrassing. Geary missed this. Geary's going to like tweet about this. Like, I've never been so embarrassed. Like this, and then mate. And then, you know what? You kidding me? And then mate.
Ladder.
What? Geary didn't see that? Man, come on, Geary.
Aw, but they don't have a lot of time.
He's 2,800. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty bad for Geary. Geary's, that's a Geary special there. Okay, so time makes fools of us all. In a slow game, Queen B2 would have been banged out and then resigns. Okay, so he played Queen G4. So instead of forced mate, now it's an equal position. Well, Geary needs to draw to win the match. So that's looking bad for White. White can never win. What did he miss? Knight D5? That's a miss. That's not a miss. He played here so his king can run out if the guy doubles on the H-file. Also, you can't double on the H-file because I have this same checkmate. So you got to keep your rook here so you don't get checkmated. Okay, and they drew, I guess. Yeah. So Geary was winning, but he drew. That's a good like meme. Like Geary, queen takes B2 mate, queen G4 equals. And then Geary's like thumbs up. Yeah. Yeah, he missed queen B2. Yeah.
He'll be unhappy.
Yeah, he won't be happy that he missed mate, but he'll be happy he drew. And he knows the jokes about him, so he'll make a joke like that. Like, I knew queen B2 won, but queen G4 is equal. And then, it's a draw. Okay, so the quarterfinals have 8 players. The 8 players are Buckrow is playing Mamedyarov tomorrow. Benjamin Bach is playing Salinas Herrera. Komsky is playing Sevian. And Geary is playing Min Lee. Those are the 8 players in the winners brackets. And there's 16 players who are in the losers brackets who are going to play tomorrow. There's more losers than winners. And that's every game. The games are done. Pretty sure. Yeah, that's no more games left. So I hope you enjoyed the coverage. We'll leave it on Geary's final position. And each game is the last game. Okay. Sevian won. I knew all that. Oh, wow. Listen to these bids. They give me the bids for the Armageddon. Mm-hmm. In the Salinas match with Aradhya, one of them bid 12 minutes and 36 seconds to play against 15 minutes. The other one bid 7 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow.
Wow. 7 minutes, 30 seconds is crazy because if you bid 10 or 11 minutes, you're going to win. You're going to get your bid.
I didn't know they bid. I didn't even know.
Yeah, whoever bids lowest gets to pick. And in one of the matches, Kovalenko, he picked lowest and he chose white and had to win. And he lost.
Oh, no.
And what's funny is Black won every game that match. Black won the first 2 games also. All right, same thing tomorrow, but 8 players are out, so there'll be less games, and we'll probably concentrate more on the winner's bracket. But you never know. We might see like, well, Andreken's pretty good. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the coverage. I hope you donated all that you could and some that you couldn't. I hope you found your mommy's wallet and so forth. 8 players are out. 16 are in the losers and 8 are in the winner's bracket. If you're in the losers bracket, you can still win the tournament, but you have to run the table and you have to beat the winner in the winner's bracket in the final twice. The truth hurts. Okay, same time tomorrow, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did or didn't enjoy the coverage, doesn't matter, tell chess.com. Say, this guy's the worst. Can you have somebody else cover? Okay, and Karen's even worse. Or say, Ben and Karen are the best. Why aren't you guys having them do more commentary? It's up to you guys who does commentary. You guys like Naroditsky. You guys like Lako. Some of you like Danny Renge. Some don't. If you tell chess.com who you like and who you don't like, they're going to hire who you like. So that's up to you. And they're not paying me for this. This is just up to you guys. But I wanted to cover the event for you. And it was funny that these super GMs who are the best players in the world are in Division 3. Man, the truth hurts.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Right? Geary, Kramnik, Andreken, Komsky, Mamedyarov, Division 3. Man. And Andreken's losing in Division 3. All right, who do we raid?
Let me see who's streaming.
I raid you. Hey, GM Hans.
Yeah, you could raid him.
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Well, he's the best one that's streaming.
All right, I'll see you guys
See you
tomorrow,
guys.
same